Nintenbyte. You got the Triforce and it feels right. Like Bowser, you can listen all night, singing Peaches until the sun lights. Summer shooter beams so bright. Master Hand always brings a fight. Catch 'em all and use that fire blast. Put the soul back to visit your past. Welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast. We got the OG crew. We call it the OG crew because this is actually the four people that are supposed to be on every single week. Although a certain Nintendo Talk guy over there just kind of told me to fuck off for a month. I don't know what's going on.
It was a little nicer than that, but
Not in such harsh language, I suppose. No, it's okay. You don't have to explain it. It's personal stuff. But hey, glad to have you back on, man. Gonna be a good show. Just the four of us, no guests this week. Don't worry though, guys. If you guys miss having guests, I mean, at this point, Nintendo Talk feels like a guest. But no. Next week we have Sunbro Nation and Nick Winoke coming on, so we'll have a six pack next week. But hey, we got a jam packed show, some really good topics. Nice reminder that the person who super chats the highest amount can be our final topic of the show. Otherwise, it'll just be Q&A stuff, which is totally normal. You guys can super chat in your Q&As if you're watching the live version over on YouTube. Obviously, if you're watching on any other platform, I have no fucking idea. If you, I don't know. No one ever seems to chat on the other platforms, so it beats me. Let's go ahead and dive right in by just going around the room, introducing ourselves. Eric.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
What's your name?
I'm Irk.
I'm Irk.
Irk.
I'm
Eric, what's your name?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It says right there.
Yeah, it says right there. You are so laggy on my screen. It's hilarious.
Yeah, there. That thing. There.
That thing there. Yeah, I got it. The thing in red.
Yeah.
All right. Then we got Nintendo Talk.
What is up, everyone? Patrick from Nintendo Talk. Nate, what is your new forum called?
Oh, yeah. Nintendo Talk.
We got, dude, I'm going to see you in court, man.
I did think that was interesting when I saw the forum name. I'm like, huh.
Yeah. When I came up with the forum name, I was like, wait a second. Well, there's no 10 in it. I think we're on.
Good. No, happy to be back.
Until he's like, hey, by the way, you motherfucker, I have a thing called the Nintendo Talk Podcast. You fuck. I'm like, God damn it. Anyways, no, we're good. Yeah, you guys can go check out that forum if you want. I don't even have a link to one of our mods or something could throw a link in the chat if they want. Don't really advertise it too much, but it's out there if you want to talk about Nintendo. It's like a nice little community. It's not really about me. Like, I didn't want it to be named after my channel. I just wanted it to be like a general Nintendo community. So we'll see how it goes. It's pretty active actually for only being existing since like Monday. So like 55 members or something. That being said, yeah, glad to have you back, man. Glad to have you back. Definitely. Then we got to get to Mr. Donkey Kong Country over there. But before you talk, Thunderstash.
Yeah.
Damn.
I got something we got to do.
What's up?
What we got to do is we got to celebrate. We got to celebrate for very specific reasons. You see, sir, you are now a 50,000 subscriber YouTube channel, baby. Hey!
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks, man. Thank you, guys. I was
You don't pay attention to that
expecting
shit? Yeah, you don't pay attention to that shit. Don't mean I don't pay attention, baby. It's a big milestone, man. Halfway to 100K? Hell yeah, dude.
Thank you, guys.
Huge.
I really appreciate
Absolutely
it.
huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. It's literally one of the fastest growing channels on YouTube. He literally hasn't posted anything in like a week. And his channel's still growing faster than mine.
Yeah, it happened, and I feel bad about it too.
Evergreen content, man. That's what game reviews are. Congrats, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic, dude.
Thank you.
All right. This is just a big mess I get to clean up later. That's what I got children for, right? All right. So yeah, what's going on, Thunderstash? How you doing, man?
Good. Staying busy as always. I'm playing Metaphor.
I was wondering if you were on why something hasn't come out in like a week. I'm like, I bet you it's Metaphor.
Yes. Yes. I'm probably about 40 hours in. And you know, it's a long game, and I'm very thorough. When the game is really good, I'm thorough. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not enjoying it, but I want to get the review done and get to the end, I'm obviously not as thorough. for example, Princess Peach Showtime. Played it earlier this year. Didn't, it's a great game. I think it's a very good game for kids. But for me, I personally just did not love it, right? But I was like, I have to see it through to the end if I'm going to review the game. I have to beat it.
Oh, of course.
So
no half-assing around here.
Exactly. So a game like that, that one was hard to get through. But if I'm really enjoying it, I'm going to be super thorough. So, dude, I'm in deep in this game. It's been so good. And it's got a lot going on. I've been working on this Atari VCS that I picked up for Black Friday, which I'll talk about later.
Sure, absolutely.
Working on that. It is for lack of a better word, it's a bit of a shit show.
Hey, that'll be a fun combo later. That'll be a fun one later.
Yeah, but just staying busy, man, gaming, and got a lot of content coming up planned. So
it's gonna be awesome, man. It's gonna be awesome.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Let's see here. I'm Nintendo Prime. You guys should know at this point what's up. If you don't know, check out my YouTube channel. I'm posting news all the time. Right now, it just seems like I only talk about Switch 2, and I get it. Just wait for this damn thing to be revealed. Then you're going to see a huge variety of content. So, all right. That being said, it's topic roulette time, baby. Oh, baby. So, we only have 3, obviously, because we don't know what the 4th topic is yet. So, we're going to save that 4th topic for Mr. Eric. He can be the random topic guy today.
Fair enough.
So let's make, because I was going to be nice and be like, Nintendo Talk can take them. No, Nintendo Talk's going first.
Okay.
What are you picking, buddy?
I guess I will do I'll do the sales, Cyber Monday, Black Friday talk.
Hell yeah. We're going right into that right away. It's going to be great. Thunder Stash.
Wow. I mean, it would only be right for me to take the what do video games mean to us topic, because that also means that I leave the Switch 2 rumor topic to you.
God damn.
And that's all Nate does.
Someday, once it's revealed, I'll finally get to do something besides talk about Switch 2 rumors.
Right.
We say that as there'll be more Switch 2 rumors.
Yeah.
And then you guys take all the game topics about Switch 2, and I'm stuck with the rumors again.
There's always Switch 3.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
You stay in your pigeonhole and you like it.
You are not allowed to do anything but talk about upcoming Nintendo platforms, even if they're 10 years away.
Right.
All right, that sounds cool. You know what? Let's just hop right into our very first topic, Nintendo Talk. What are we doing, man?
Yeah, just kind of wanted to talk about if we got any good deals for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. What do we get?
That's a thing.
That's a thing. What, that exists? What's happening? Are we still in Cyber Week?
Yeah, right.
It's more like Black Friday week or Black Friday.
It's like Black Friday week and Cyber Monday week. It used to just be a couple days. And then they went, we'll also have sales on Thanksgiving. Like, now we'll just do it all week.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about how it's changed.
Sure.
Well.
Yeah. Go for it. You do that. Yeah. Let's start off with that.
Yeah, because I think that kind of factors into probably what we picked up and the amount of things that we picked up.
Mm-hmm.
Because Black Friday is nowhere near what it used to be in more ways than one, right? Like the sales have just not been as great. And it's been like that for a few years, at least. Video games, you can usually still get some solid deals. If though, you play your cards right throughout the year. And you guys know what I'm talking about. I think chat, you know what I'm talking about in that sometimes you can look at a game. Like I could look at a release calendar, most likely, right now if we did it. For 2025, if we did on the show. And I could probably look and pick out a good handful of games that I know will be on sale for Black Friday 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So if you play your cards right, then hey, you might actually have a lot of good games you can pick up for Black Friday. But then if you're buying the games as soon as they come out, and then throwing them right into your backlog what's the point, right? So it's situations like that also that I think we're probably not buying as many games. I still got a good handful, but again, these were games that I looked at earlier this year and thought I might be able to get this for a better deal on Black Friday. For example, I actually didn't pick up any Ubisoft games this year, but you can always count on Ubisoft.
Yep.
It doesn't matter when the game came out. The game, Sega too, like Sonic X Shadow.
Mm-hmm.
I reviewed that game. I picked it up at full price at 50. And I will say that even at 50, still a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was generous pricing by Sega, and I think they did that for a reason too, with the movie, of course, coming out on the 12th. There's planned DLC for the game that is from the movie that comes out on the 12th. Like they have a big marketing campaign that's very clever. But that game's already $30. I don't know. It could still be 30 right now.
Mm-hmm.
You look at that, you're paying $15 a game. There's 2 games on Sonic X Shadow Generations.
It's a good deal.
Totally steal. And again, you mentioned Sega, but yeah, like Sega Atlas as well. I did pick up games from that. So you can always count on certain games to be on sale, but if you don't play your cards like very strategically, which I don't expect a lot of people to do, I truly don't. Why should we, right? There's not a lot of great deals overall. It's just not the same. And, I don't know if it's, I'm sure part of it's the economy. I think part of it's probably carryover still, right? From COVID pandemic. It's online shopping now. People aren't going into stores. You notice, like, remember back in the day, the doorbusters?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those are gone, man. Real doorbusters. If anyone's advertising it as a doorbuster, that's horseshit. There's no real doorbusters. You know what I mean? Like there was back in the day. I remember like driving by Best Buy after we had already had Thanksgiving dinner and literally seeing a family. This is at my local Best Buy, a family in line with a freaking dining table having Thanksgiving dinner in line. It was hilarious. I'm like, this is great. Like, this is what it's about. Like, this is funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got the whole family to do it, and they genuinely looked like they were having a great time. That was fun, man. I feel like maybe those days are behind us, similar to the days of midnight launches.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like some of these favorite pastimes in gaming, and of course with Black Friday, they might be gone forever. What do you guys think?
I mean, like midnight launches are definitely something that don't seem to be as frequent anymore. I mean, they still exist. It's very dependent on if you have a local game store, how many orders they get, if it's worth even being open. That's usually how it gets determined. And just because of the advent of buying online, digital, there's just less people that feel like they need to go to the store to get the game. So, plus, again, you can even get the physical copies online, just have it sent to your house. But there are still, certain situations that at least haven't changed for midnight launches. Console launches. Very much a lot of stores still do midnight launches for consoles because you got to show up to pick it up. Now, it was a little bit weird for the pandemic. Obviously, that was obviously a very unique situation with PlayStation 5 and Xbox. Yeah. But I fully suspect that, like Switch 2, will have midnight launches at most GameStops. And, even like if there's 24-hour Walmarts, there'll be lines for people trying to pick theirs up at midnight. So, yeah, like I think that still exists for now. And I say that because we still see it with like iPhone launches and all that stuff, like people still waiting in line, to get it. So it still exists in some form, but it's like, instead of it being for everything, now it's just kind of like very specific, unique products that come out like once in a while. And then with like the doorbusters, like I was looking at some of the ads for the doorbusters and I'm like, okay, there was a couple interesting deals, but this is nothing like when it was back in the day and the first 65-inch TV came out and they had 3 of them in the store and the doorbuster was you're getting it for $100 and it's usually $5,000.
Mhm.
You're just like, that's a fucking doorbuster.
You're throwing elbows.
You are fucking coming out a week early and camping to get that $100 fucking $5,000 TV. So like,
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Like that's a doorbuster. Now it's like, oh, it's a doorbuster. And you look at it, you're like, oh, that's cool. And then you just go check online quick, and you see like, oh yeah, this thing's like $300. Check online. Oh, lowest price ever. Oh, it was literally the same price like 4 months ago. It ain't a doorbuster. That's not an incredible deal. That's is it a good deal? Fine, but it's a deal that I don't even have to wait for Black Friday for, So, yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. It was kind of weird because Black Friday, like I said, is more like a week thing. Like it doesn't start on Friday.
Yeah.
And I feel like that causes Cyber Monday to suffer because I thought Cyber Monday wasn't as good as Black Friday. Like I actually saw some decent Black Friday deals, but nothing like they used to. I saw some people posting on like what Black Friday looked like in like 06 or
Oh yeah, you saw that video.
Yeah.
and dude, there was like Metroid Prime for like $10, like crazy deals, like the GameCube for like $20. Like we're not gonna get that again. But yeah, I almost feel like what's the point of Cyber Monday? Because you have a week of basically online sales,
Yeah.
and then it stops for like a day, and then it's like, oh, Cyber Monday.
It's like, oh, you're good. Oh, we're done on Saturday. It's like, oh, we're right back Sunday night. Here we go, baby. Another week.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we doing? I
Yeah,
already got my deals.
And Cyber Monday is never as good.
No.
Yeah, it made sense back in the day because the Black Friday sales were basically only in person. You had to go into the store. But now that like obviously online shopping is so popular, they said, hey, we're going to also just run sales during Black Friday week as well, which then kind of minimizes the need for a second week of online sales.
Yeah.
And now what I'm actually noticing is, oh, the retailers are now, they're starting to do sales during Cyber Monday week. Because why not?
Yeah.
You might as well at this point. And they're just not as good. They're just not as good as they used to be. And, it still is in general, if you're shopping for specific things or you plan ahead of time, do your research. Like if you're someone that uses these time periods to stock up on games or stock up on things you need for, or maybe it's the time like, hey, I know I need a new refrigerator. Might be the cheapest time of the year to get a fridge. Like, yes, it still is a great time for consumers in the United States to save money. I'm not trying to say that. It's just not what it once was. I can't remember the last time I saw people getting tackled in the store over products.
Yeah.
And I know that's wild and crazy and it shouldn't be that nuts, but that's how nuts it was because the deals were that crazy. Like people were pissed. They wanted. There'd only be like 10 of these things.
That Tickle Me Elmo was
cheap.
freaking crazy.
Dude, the Tickle Me
that was
Elmo
fun,
year.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Furbies.
Dude,
Yeah, Furbies.
we just don't.
Yeah.
And it's not that products aren't popular anymore and there aren't trends. It's just that the sales aren't as unique because there's sales happening all year long. Like the number one online place to buy stuff, Amazon, Prime Days.
Yeah.
They run that multiple times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the stuff's cheaper than Black Friday. So
I
Was it-
worked at Best Buy in 2003, like right out of high school. I was 18, and a bunch of us worked there, a bunch of friends, and of course, everyone ended up becoming friends with the new coworkers, and a lot of people were really pissed that they had to get into work at 3 a.m. for Black Friday. So we all had to work. I think we started at 3:30 or 4. But of course, we have to get up, shower, go. And everyone was like so worried about being able to actually wake up and go. So we all decided we're not going to do that. We had a huge party. Everyone came in totally and pretty annihilated, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, like everyone probably reeked of alcohol.
Nice.
And hey, yeah, this is shit. This is almost 22 years ago. But let me tell you, man, that was fun. And we got through the shift pretty quick. It was tough, but it was a lot of fun. And it was a good like work bonding moment, working together on that Black Friday. But when you work in retail, especially at a place like Best Buy, it's insane, dude. It is so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And those hours go by so fast, man.
So fast, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
good time. Those were fun times. Yeah, one of the retro gaming channels, I forget his name, but he posted a video last week about Black Friday and working at GameStop. And I think it was in 2006. So I was working Best Buy 3 years before, and he's showing some of that old footage. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember those days. That was a good time for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Some of the deals Nintendo had, basically all their first party games were half off. And I did pick up a couple of those.
Nice.
Their Switch bundles were interesting. So the normal, not OLED Switch with Mario Kart, the bundle they do friggin' every year, but it was like the normal Switch with Mario Kart was $225 or something. I think it was $225.
Yeah.
And the OLED with Mario Kart was $250 or $275. I think.
It was like $75 off.
Yeah.
This is sick. It was like by the way, first price drop holiday ever.
Yeah.
For Switch. It hasn't happened at all ever till this year. So,
which could be looking into the future. Like, I really do think that OLED is going down to $250, normal Switch $199.
Yeah.
When Switch 2 comes out.
But
But yeah,
also makes me feel like maybe we're getting a 350 Switch too. That might be a very sweet spot for mass consumers. Anyways.
Yeah. So what did we get? What did we buy? Did we buy anything?
I got some stuff. So I picked up a 1 terabyte SSD.
Okay.
And that was for the Atari VCS. So the Atari VCS is a very interesting, piece of tech, right? I think it started on either Kickstarter, possibly, or Indiegogo back in the day. And they were charging like $400 for it. And I'm not sure that it even came with controllers, right? And I remember seeing it, and I saw the price, and I'm like, oh, that's stupid. Nobody's going to buy that. It's going to flop. And of course it did, right? And so fast forward 3-4 years to now, I picked up the Atari VCS. I got it for $80. That's a steal.
Yeah.
And it comes with 2 controllers, which is cool, because the one that was $400 didn't come with any controllers. It was just the Atari. So currently I have it taken apart right now because I got the SSD. I got 32 gigs of memory. So I upgraded that. And now I'm trying to get Windows installed on it, a bootable version of Windows. So I created like an ISO on my PC, use my SSD USB connector so I could put it into there and actually put files on it on my computer. And it is not fun, guys. Dude, it is not fun. The amount of workarounds that are published by Atari, like, this is not for the general average consumer in any way, shape, or form. And guys, I've done a lot of modding, a lot of tinkering, a lot of hacking over the years, since literally the late 90s. Okay, when I first discovered all of that on the World Wide Web. I really haven't stopped since then. And so I know my way around stuff pretty well. This is pretty wild, the amount of stuff you got to do for it. And I'm still not where I need to be right now. I still have work to do on it. I'll probably still hack away at it after tonight's podcast because I'm annoyed that it's not up and running yet. But at any rate, I want to just turn it into a retro kind of gaming machine. Won't really go into too much detail, but it should be a lot of fun. And it's pretty powerful for what it is. So yeah, I got that for $80. Picked up Persona 3 Reload, $28.
Nice.
$20. Came out at $70. Alan Wake 2. I'd bought this. I'd waited for it to come out physically because I didn't buy it digitally. And again, I just knew that this was going to come out physically, even though they said they were not going to do it. It's like, of course you guys are. there's money to be made, you're going to do it. So sure enough, they did. It came out at 79. I picked it up and I didn't open it yet because I don't open games unless I'm going to play them immediately, just in case. And so, of course, Black Friday came on sale for $50. So returned the old one, picked it up for $30 cheaper, saved myself $30. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. Hey, once again, another Sega game. $25. I picked up Turds,
Nice.
Mutants Unleashed. Now, like, I play all the Turtles games. And that's not to say they're all good, because they're certainly not.
Oh, they're not.
Yeah, they're certainly not. But there's been some pretty good ones. Obviously, Shredder's Revenge is the shit. Everybody loves that game. Wrath of the Mutants, the one I reviewed? Total trash. And this is developed by OG, Outright Games. And you guys familiar with them? With their work?
A little bit.
Yeah. The resume is not very strong. So, I wasn't expecting a ton. When the reviews came out, it was not great. And I had the game. I had it pre-ordered. So I had it and I just hadn't got to it yet to play it because I was playing something else for review. So of course I was able to once again return my sealed copy, pick up a new one for half the price, $20. I got Star Ocean, the second story R for $20. Now I have this for Switch, but it's still sealed.
Yeah.
Because I haven't played it yet. So I actually might just keep that sealed and just play the one on PS5 for the better performance. And then I picked up a game, but this is the last one I picked up here. And I've never played this series, but because so many people have had so many great things to say about this game that previously had no interest whatsoever in the genre, but they ended up loving the game. I picked it up. So that's Armored Core.
Nice.
$20, dude. $20. Steal. So all these games really were pretty much $20 outside of Alan Wake. And a lot of these are $70 games. I mean, Alan Wake's $80. The deluxe edition $79.99. And that's the only physical edition because it comes with the DLC. So yeah, I got some steals there. And that's it, I think, for Black Friday. For the most part.
And were those online or in store?
All of them online.
Yeah.
Before Black Friday.
It literally means nothing now. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was all before. It was all I think that Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get an email from Best Buy saying, hey, these deals are early. And I was like, oh, I'll check. It's usually crap that they put out early. But there was some good stuff. And all the shipping's free because I have that Best Buy, that $50 membership. Yep. And I only got it because of the buy two, get one free for Switch games. Sure. I literally made a list of all the games. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to get it. And I'm going to put order in after order in after order in. And I literally put in, I think, 10 orders. So about 30 games.
Damn.
One at a time for each order. Because otherwise, you know, they're not going to give you the most expensive one for free. So, yeah, I mean, the membership paid for itself within like 1 hour of me having it. So, yeah, all of this was free shipping too.
Nice.
There we go. Not bad.
Solid.
There you go. I didn't get any games, unfortunately. Because it just so happens that like Black Friday is also around the time that all my bills are due. So kind of sucks. But it doesn't mean I didn't do anything. Was supposed to be something that was going to debut tonight on the podcast, but it's still not here. Lots of shipping issues in my area for some reason with multiple different companies. Weird stuff going on. But I was able to pick up a Shure SM7B microphone.
Ooh,
for
nice.
$300. Usually goes for $400. technically MSRP is $5, but you can get it for $4 like all year long. So
It's not bad.
So it's $100 off. And you know what? We've been having a little bit of echo issues. It's got a little bit better rejection side to side than the RE20 does. So I figured I'd give it a try. The problem is, like, if it works, then I want to get 2 of them and replace the one Eric's using. But whatever. I'll deal with that later. And now I just talked about how, like, I'm going to actually be picking up a 4 terabyte SSD. A little nervous, only a little bit, because I won't have the money to pay for it until Saturday. And I'm hoping that Cyber Week goes through Saturday. They don't cancel the sale on Saturday, because that will suck. Then I may not be getting it, or at least getting one that big, because it's normally like a $600 SSD I was trying to get. So it's like $300 off. So I'm like, that's a crazy good deal. But I'm a little nervous it might not be available on Saturday, but we'll see. That's what it. And both of those are work related purchases. So nothing crazy with gaming. I'm just not interested in a lot of stuff that's out right now. There's a couple deals that I almost pulled the trigger on, but the bottom line is the next game I'm playing after Echoes of Wisdom is Dragon Quest. So I'm good. I'm good for a while. That'll tide me for a bit. I'm gonna really dive deep into Dragon Quest 3. So
let's see what I got. I got Dragon Ball Sparking Zero for 40. That's normally 70. I got Sandland, which is also on the Xbox, for 20. I think that's half off of what it usually is. Switch games, I got the Pikmin 1 and 2 collection for 30, half off. And Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, that was half off too. That was 30. And then Trials of Mana for $24.99. I think that's half off as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there were some good deals. One of the better deals I saw that I didn't get, Mario RPG was $28.
Oh, I got that.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I already own it, but I literally just bought it to just keep it sealed. I mean, you see how much is sealed Mario RPG for Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
goes for it. I'll just buy it as a little investment for a rainy day.
There you go.
Yeah. And then another great deal. I mean, we all have it, but Tears of the Kingdom was 30 at Walmart. That's nuts.
Very nice.
That is like an old school deal.
Yeah, that's
like an old school deal.
Yeah, because Nintendo never discounts games, and that's like a bestseller, and it was a year ago. And here you go, 40 off for that one. That's nice. It's a good deal.
I picked up a bunch of games on the PlayStation Store that shouldn't go unnoticed, because I gotta say, though, some of those sales are pretty insane. Some of the highlights. I got Beyond Good and Evil 20th anniversary for 15.
Ooh.
And I do own the physical edition for Switch, but that's staying sealed. And I really don't want to play that version at 30 FPS. And I can play at 60.
Yeah, right.
I got Middle Earth Shadow of War Definitive Edition. It has literally every piece of DLC. And the DLC itself is probably worth like $40 based on what I scrolled through. How much do you think I got it for the game and all the DLC?
20.
Okay. What do you think, Nintendo?
10.
What do you think, Eric?
I'll split it 15. Why not?
Dude, $2.99.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Dude,
Damn.
it's crazy though, for real. Like the games you can get at some of the prices. And another game I got, which I played this game when it came out on Switch. In fact, this was the first game I ever bought from Limited Run, and it was their first game released on Switch. So this is back in like 2017 when they had just became a company. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. I think I might have mentioned it before, but it's called Saturday Morning RPG.
Oh yeah, I have heard of that. Yeah.
Dude, this game is so badass. Like there's literally, you can summon the zebra from the Fruit Stripes gum as like an attack, like a summon attack, dude.
Yes.
It is super, super 80s.
You use
It
like
is so
cassettes,
cool.
right? Or something?
No, I think. Are you thinking of Cassette Beast?
I might be thinking of that. Yeah.
Nate, don't you have that
Yes.
physical version?
Yes, I have a physical copy. Yep.
That's rare.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is a rarity.
Yeah,
So
it is
Sour
stained
Cream
sealed.
RPG.
That will
You
not
guys
be
check
open.
this out. It was on sale for $2.49. I mean,
Mm.
you can't beat that. So again, I already own it on Switch, but I thought it would be really fun just to play through it again. Be perfectly honest, it was like $2.50. Yeah,
There's
I'll play
good
it.
cyber deals for sure.
Yeah, so many good.
Or digital, I mean.
Yeah, a lot of really good digital deals, and well, one other one I got was just some gift cards.
Mm.
I know it sounds lame, but from Costco. So they were selling Nintendo, obviously like Nintendo online store gift cards for $40 and you get $50.
Hmm.
So obviously it cost me $80 to get $100. And it's like, if you use, and then you use that to use a voucher, it's like,
Mhm.
dude, you're starting to get some pretty damn good deals here.
Mhm.
So I always do that whenever those go on sale. I'm like, I'm going to end up using them. Like these games that I bought on the PlayStation Store, I don't just like buy them and then install them immediately. I threw them in my cart, got on the Costco's website, ordered my PlayStation Store card. They email it to you within like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I put
Mhm.
my code in. Every time I save 10% off all year round. It's like, why wouldn't you do that?
Makes sense, yeah.
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 Look at the money maestro over there. Eric, you pick up anything at all?
I got a big old goose egg for $3.99.
Not bad.
All right. Cool.
I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't really look, and there's not much I was really wanting or
Thinking about
needing.
wanting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, dude, there's lots of stuff I want.
I
But,
was just stupidly busy.
let's
with
just put it this way. If I
other
had had a
stuff.
double payday, oh, baby, there might be a shelf of gaming collection behind me.
I have to say something to Mr. Ray Spence in the chat. He said he still has a sealed copy of Beautiful Joe 2 on GameCube. And I just had to say, because it's so weird, it's so random. But I literally have a sealed copy of Beautiful Joe 2 on GameCube.
Wins.
When I saw
Nice.
that, I'm like, no way, really? We're probably one of the only few people
Mhm.
that have a sealed
That's so
copy of
funny.
Beautiful Joe 2. So random. Yeah.
It's so random. Yeah. All right. I guess we can probably move on to our next topic, unless you guys have anything else you dug up that you're like, you know what? I got this treasure for $1. It's called toilet paper at the dollar store. It wasn't even on sale.
It was used.
It was
No.
Oh,
No.
yeah, buddy.
the roll was half gone.
You know, I also got Octopath Traveler 2. I already own it for PS5. But again, I got it for Switch because it was on sale for $20.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I have part
enough.
1
Incredible
physically on Switch. And there is not a physical version of part 1 on PlayStation. And there probably never will be.
Um,
So that's
I also
the
gotta
only way
say-
to have the physical set.
real quick before we move on, Nintendo is a little cheap when it comes to these deals, dude. Like they should be putting their games on sale for like $20 on the eShop. Like what is putting ARMS on sale for 20 gonna do? Nothing. Just do it. Stop it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
They
if
should-
it was for like NSO members only or something, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should do. I'm surprised they don't do like a lot of deals for NSO members.
Mhm.
They really should. It would
Yeah.
really just push more.
Xbox does it.
Mhm.
They have
Yeah,
like their gold member deals or whatever.
Yeah, it would just push more subscriptions. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. Anyways, all right. I guess we can move on to our next topic, which Thunderstash. What are we talking about?
Okay. So this topic's a deep one. Very deep. When I saw it earlier today, maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours before the podcast, I was like, oh, dude, that's deep. We're going real deep here.
Yeah.
But it's what do video games mean to us, right? And yeah, I thought about it a little bit. Of course, there's a lot of things. So I wrote down some things here. Would anyone like to go first, though? Is there someone that would like to start this off?
I mean, I guess I can because I always go last on everything. So
Yeah, Eric.
why not? Why not?
What do video games mean to you, buddy?
You know, for me, it's nostalgia. Because I mean, I'm not as big of a gamer as I was once. It's family, it's friends. Just growing up playing games with my sister, my cousins, Nate, my other friends, just having a good time. And that's kind of what gaming means to me. It's just community, friends, family, and like I said, nostalgia because I don't game anywhere near as much as I used to.
All right.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, when I was younger, my first like intro to video games, my dad had a Genesis at the time, and we were playing like Sonic 2, and I thought it was like the weirdest thing. And then we got a PS1, and I lived like right next to a Hollywood Video, which is basically like a Blockbuster.
Game crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So we were able to rent games. It was like $5 to rent a game for like a weekend or something. So it was cool to go in there and just experiment and see what games you liked, what games you didn't like. And then of course 90s kid, Pokemon, like Game Boy Color, Pokemon, that was amazing. Yeah, and it just continued. I would say like out of all the companies, Nintendo has been like the most consistent in my life, just because I feel like their quality of games is usually like a lot higher.
We spent a lot. Oh my god.
What was
Sorry,
that?
sorry about that. I don't. YouTube's
YouTube
on
and
autoplay bullshit. All right,
Yeah.
go on. Sorry.
Okay, need a new pair of pants, but no, Nintendo's always been like constant. There was a point where I was like kind of falling out of gaming, playing the same things every year, sports, shooting games, and I was like, damn. And then out of all consoles, the Wii U brought me back, which is crazy. And then I noticed like I was having a ton of fun with the Wii U, and then I would try to bring it up to my friends. They were like, "What's a Wii U, dude?" Like, no one knew what a Wii U was. So that's actually why I started YouTube, to talk about games and stuff like that. And then the Switch has like blown my mind. And the fact that Nintendo is still releasing games that I consider like life changing, like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, like those games came out a few years ago. So yeah, at one point I thought video games was just going to be kind of like this is what childhood Pat plays, but I'm still playing them, and I think they'll always be a part of my life. So love them.
All right. Stash, you can go. I'll go last.
All right.
I'm gonna get emotional for mine. So.
So I think the first time that I ever saw video games, right, was at my cousin's house, and it was Kalinko, and it was the Smurfs. And this is back when like Smurfs were still a cartoon that you watched on TV. Like you got excited when the Smurfs were on. And I remember seeing that for the first time, and it was just like floored by it. And obviously it's not a great game by any means. I've went back and even played it in recent years to see if it was at all good. It's not good. But that's like a core memory, you could say, for gaming, which is pretty odd. I know it's an odd one for a game. But throughout like the whole span of my life, right, I look at video games and I think it's done obviously a ton for me. One thing I kind of wrote down is that there's a lot of key things in video games that I learned unknowingly. And what I mean is I very similar to the lessons that Mr. Miyagi teaches Daniel. And I've watched Karate Kid, I've watched those movies my whole life. And obviously he has him do all this stuff, right? Like painting the fence. And he's like, why am I doing, all these things for you? Like, you have me doing all this housework. I thought we were supposed to be training, right? And then, unbeknownst to Daniel, he finds out that he actually was training. And I feel like video games have actually really done that for me in my life. Completely unbeknownst to me, that as I grow up and I go into different careers, how much video games would help me. One, for example, one thing big time, and I will say that I've talked about this in interviews, literally, and I have no shame talking about video games in interviews whatsoever, because if I'm interviewing for a job, I know I'm qualified for it, so I don't care. And one thing I've always talked about is with video games, it really helped me to become like a master troubleshooter with anything, like anything in life. And it's like, I would say they taught me to never leave a task unfinished at a very young age. So if you start a project, or in this instance, you start a video game, you finish it. I don't leave it unfinished. It's going to get beat. I am going to see those credits. And honestly, I think that really plays a huge role in your development as an adult. If you actually start projects and finish them, or is your life just a bunch of unfinished projects? And I really think that instills it in you at a very young age. And again, this is all unbeknownst, right? Like, you don't know that this is going to play a role until you become old enough to actually look back and reflect on this. And I've always kind of looked back on this too. Obviously, competition. I've played basketball my whole life very competitively, but video games definitely continue to sharpen that. I still stay very competitive because of that. Quitting is never the answer. The answer is to try harder or try something different. Another big one that I don't think it gets enough credit for, and I just had this conversation with my lady, right? And she was talking, of course, one of her favorite topics is about, getting married and having kids. And so she's like, I really want our kids to like read books. I don't want them to be like glued to devices and, to just be on iPads the whole time. I'm like, yeah, totally. I get that. So I really want them to read a lot, like read books. And of course, me, I gotta remind her that, well, you do a lot of reading in video games. You know that, right? She's like, oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of. I'm like, no. I don't think you understand, because you don't play RPGs. So I don't think you know. Let me show you. Let's get on Google and find out some stuff right now. So I was like, come here, sit a little closer so you can read this. I'm going on to Google, and I think it was Baldur's Gate 3. The amount of text in that game is greater than any book, novel ever. It's more than the entire Tolkien books, all of them put together.
Jeez.
There's more dialogue in it. It's like X amount times, I think 5 or 6 times more reading than the Bible in one video game. So, I've always said this, and I think the younger kids today, the younger generation, they don't have to deal with the stigma that we did growing up, which was video games are going to rot your brain and they're not good for you, and they're going to make you violent if you play this game. Like, I still remember Mortal Kombat back in the day when the hearing was on C-SPAN with Joe Lieberman back in the day, and acting like these fatalities in the game, like we're going to perform those now in real life at school. It's like, come on, man. Get the fuck out of here. That ain't going to happen.
Yeah, because I can really rip somebody's spine out of their,
right?
Yeah.
This isn't Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, man. not going to punch someone and grab their heart out, but it's like there was a the stigma was like very real back then that video games were bad for you. They don't do anything good for you. And obviously your parents aren't immune to hearing that. So when they see you playing as much video games as you do now, I would say I played easily equal amount basketball, if not more.
Sure.
But I played tons of video games. And when they hear that stuff, you got to make sure that your parents don't buy into it. So then you become the salesman as the gamer as to why you shouldn't believe that and why these games are actually really good for me. And I think they're going to help me later in life. And I'm saying that as a young kid, when I'm like 11, 12 years old. But sure enough, they literally have. I truly believe this. Because, again, all the troubleshooting, the reading, the comprehension. Another thing that I've put on here is that for me, I really think that like video games are as close as I'll probably ever come to time traveling. And I hope I'm wrong about that because I would love to see time travel come to fruition. And I have my own theories on that, but we won't get into that. This isn't the conspiracy podcast.
It could be. Buckle up, everyone.
Right? But no, for real, like playing old games for me, it's so weird. And because I have friends, obviously, I've my family that I've grown up playing video games with. I've had friends that I've, for over 30 years that we all played video games together, right? But like, I just have a very good memory, I guess, when it comes to all this stuff. But when I play like old games, I feel like they actually can almost like transport me back to that exact time.
Yeah.
And I can like literally like visualize exactly where I was, whose house I was at, or what room I was in. And I can like remember everything perfectly, vividly, what my like thoughts were, what my feelings were. And it's like some of these memories are like 30, 35 years old, which is crazy. And for me, like when it comes to just playing the game and like hearing the music, it's different than watching a movie.
Especially if you play it on like a CRTV too.
Yeah, and I got one right here.
Yeah.
You have to have the CRT. But that is just something that's so cool. And even like as I've revisited some retro games on my channel throughout this past year, it's been like so much fun. It's really brought me back. Video games for me, like truly, like I think they're part of my DNA. Like they're completely embedded in my DNA. And I will mention that I want to put this in here. I've literally brought up The Legend of Zelda twice in 2 different interviews when I was at Lone Depot. Once when I was interviewing for my first management position there, and the other time when I was interviewing for the director of operations for the company. I brought up The Legend of Zelda because they asked me, how did you get so, proficient at troubleshooting? Like, what would you tell me? And they're like, you can think about it for a while. I'm like, oh, I don't need to think about it. Oh, wait, it's from playing video games. And they're like, what? And I'm like, no, I swear to you, I've been doing this since I was a kid. I didn't use any player's guides. I said, we didn't have them back in the day. Nobody knew how to beat these games. My older brothers didn't. Nobody at school did. And specifically when I say that, I'm like talking about Zelda. And I told them that Legend of Zelda, it all started there because it never stopped throughout my whole life. That's how I became, really, I guess you could say good at troubleshooting. It's really though that I just don't quit. I don't give up. I know the answer's somewhere there. And if anyone's going to find it, I'm going to try and find it. So I truly think that video games have helped me get some of the jobs that I've gotten over the years and have led to the careers that I've had, which is crazy, right? Could I have ever predicted that when I was a kid? I don't think so. So yeah, video games really, they truly mean, the world to me. There's a couple of things in life that I've always done. That's played video games, played basketball, and always have watched my Phoenix Suns. Literally since '92, I've watched every single game. I don't know if you guys know that. I've never missed a game. I literally recorded games back in the day with VHS tapes.
Nice.
Using VCR. Was it VCR Plus?
Yeah.
This is the days, of course, before TiVo. When TiVo came out, I had to get a TiVo because of that feature, literally. Because, sometimes you have basketball practice or you do have things you have to go do. I had 2 jobs in high school at the same time, and basketball and work and a girlfriend. But I still didn't miss any video games. So there's a lot of things that I'm very loyal and dedicated to. I'm very passionate about. And it's those things right there. So, nothing's going to change from here. I'm almost 40. 40 years later, I want to be doing the same thing. So they're very important to me. Nate, take it away.
All right. So I'm playing video games almost as far back as I can remember. I do remember a slight time before video games, but like a month. Yeah, it was mostly because my dad was playing video games, and that's what really got me interested in video games. And my dad was playing them. He was playing the NES, playing some PC stuff. My grandma had a computer. I didn't back then. I got to play a game. One of the first games I played, not the first. The first was that Mike Tyson's Punch-Out story I've told before. But first that I played that I was allowed to play was a game called Gnome, Gnome on PC. It's a mech game. Funny thing is, I don't like mech games today. But I loved it back then. It was the coolest thing I ever did in my entire life back then. It was like so cool, this 3D mech game on grandma's computer. This is awesome. And then there was some game that I still haven't figured out what it's called anymore. Some racing game with cars shooting, but it wasn't like Twisted Metal. Yeah.
That game that we still can't find.
Still can't figure out what it is. It's almost like maybe I made it up in my head and it never. No, I played a shit ton of it. I just don't remember what it was called because it just came with the computer. It was like a game that packed in with grandma's new computer. Anyways, so gaming's been in my life, in and out, for most of my life. I'm really into sports. I've missed some Bucks games, but I watch almost all of them since I was a kid. I watch a ton of the Brewers games. I don't catch all the Brewers games. It's a little crazy in baseball. 162 games. I mean, and they're always on at weird times. And I'm like, yeah. And to be honest, baseball is more fun to go in person than watch on TV, unless it's like playoffs. So I'm cool just kind of checking the box scores a lot of the times. I'll be cool with that. Basketball, I like in person and also watching. It's just like Packer games. I haven't missed a single Packer game as far back as I can even remember. Like they've been huge in my family, obviously huge with me too. So, that being said, video games have just kind of always been there. While I've had periods, especially when in my adulthood, when other things came up and I had to take a break from them, or maybe I got burned out, or I always ended up coming back to video games. I don't. It'll feel insulting to my fiance to say video games feel like home, because she's my home now. I didn't know there was a different home other than video games until I met her. Oh, I know. But video games, the thing is, I've gone through a lot in life. I think a lot of people go through a lot of shit in life, good shit, bad shit. But it always felt like every time something really bad was going on in my life, some game came out at the perfect time for what I was dealing with. It's kind of like the COVID situation, and Animal Crossing dropped, and it was so perfect for so many people. Yep. Yeah, it's like that, but every single time something bad happened in my life, breakups, and a family pet dying, or a family member passing away, or just other stuff I don't really want to talk about that happened to me, or people I love. So like they've just kind of been there, almost like kind of like a best friend in a way. Because like Eric's my best friend and I'll tell him everything, but sometimes there are some things you talk about and like there's just nothing you can really say. It's just kind of like that's just a fucked up thing, and how do you really deal with it? Well, video games somehow help me process, and it's really weird because it'll be a game that comes out and something in the story or something in the game, it just clicked and made me figure out something in my life to help me through whatever I'm going through. And I can't really explain. So I have this deep emotional connection to video games. I've been literally running video game fan websites since 1998. It's how far back that I want to talk about doing this. Like started back in 98 when I was 12 years old. Ocarina of Time, baby. I think that's what maybe, you know what? I want to make some, because again, no guides. I want to make some guides for Ocarina of Time. Yeah. So that's what got me all started, was making guides. And video games are always going to be part of my life. It was really interesting meeting my now fiance, that she didn't really play games. She played a few games growing up, some Donkey Kong and stuff, but for the most part, didn't really play video games. And now she plays. She games. She spends more hours gaming every week than I do now. Wow. Probably my fault. I introduced her to Breath of the Wild, and from that point forward, it was just a spiral. Mm-hmm. Breath of the Wild, and then she got really deep into Fire Emblem Warriors, then really deep into Tears of the Kingdom. And when I say really deep, I mean thousands of hours. She's not someone who needs like a bunch of games to play. She'll just play one forever. Right now it's Fortnite. And of course, she had to get addicted to a game that never ends and is always updated. She might never play another video game again. Now she'll probably play the next Zelda game, but and Mario and Mario Wonder, we beat that one together. So I kind of just, video games have just been an integral part of my life. It's like almost part of my identity at this point. I mean, literally, I'm a video game YouTuber for a living. Mm-hmm. Clearly, it's part of my identity. I'm wearing Nintendo Prime or Mario or Pikachu or Zelda or Donkey Kong or some sort of gaming shirt. If I ain't wearing sports, I'm wearing gaming shit. Like there's not really much in between. I do have, obviously, I got some dress up clothes, and I have some plain t-shirts and stuff I wear sometimes. But for the most part, you see me out in public, I'm wearing sports or video game stuff because those are the things I'm really into. And so just like sports is also a really integral part of my life, both playing and watching. So is video games. And I can't, like, I don't know how to properly express what they mean to me. Do they mean more to me than my children and my fiance and Eric and the people? No, I'm not an idiot. I have priorities. But it'll be a dark fucking world if I had to have a realization I could never play games again. Mm-hmm. And that might happen someday when I'm ancient. I don't know. Maybe my hands don't work anymore and I just, don't have the energy to use, other types of controllers and stuff. That's going to suck. That's going to be a pretty emotional moment if that ever happens. I'm hoping it doesn't. But if that ever happens, that's going to suck. But I'm just so thankful they exist. And I know the industry's gone through its ebbs and flows, its ups and downs, lots of shit, lots of negativity. I think it's just the internet in general, but lots of negativity. But there's so much positive stuff going on. I feel like our podcast is one of those places where there's just a lot of positive vibes around video games. So, yeah, I love them, man.
Yeah.
At this point, they're like as close. I don't want to say it. It's like as close to me as my dog. I love them as much as I love my dog. Like, I never want my dog to die. I know it's going to happen one day. But the video games will always be there. I love it.
Yeah.
It just means not everything, but it means a lot.
You guys ever think about like the kids? This is going to sound like I'm super old, but I'm not. I'm only 32. But the kids that are playing video games right now, like, on Fortnite or whatever, do you ever like think ahead like 20 years? Like where are they going to get their nostalgia from, dude? Because like Fortnite might not be a thing. Fortnite will never be the version that they remember. Mm-hmm. Gaming nowadays have updates, DLC, like some Switch games you're not going to be able to play in the future, or like you'll be able to play a very small bit of it. So you guys ever think about that? Like, damn.
No.
R.I.P.
Not until you mentioned it, but
yeah, I don't really thought. So for Fortnite, if it's still around, obviously we can't predict. Like,
but even if it is,
if you pay attention to Fortnite, they bring back the classics.
Yeah,
the classic maps and the class. They do it all the time.
Like, how are they going to get their nostalgia?
That literally boosts their player base every time they do it because people get nostalgic. So Fortnite, I'm actually not as worried about it. I know there's some licensing stuff where maybe they can't do certain things all the time. Yeah. But they seem to bring back like the Snoop Dogg Eminem stuff they just did recently. That was actually bringing something back they've already done. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm not as worried for Fortnite because they seem to be pretty understanding of nostalgia and every now and then
Yeah.
Make sure they blast the player base with some.
But it's not like going to a yard sale and getting an NES.
Well, no.
plugging that
And
in.
what sucks about it is like you can't get that blast until they give it to you. Like that's part of what sucks about service games. But it's also why, like, I think sometimes it comes down to parents as well, making sure they introduce kids to more. I don't want to say they have to be single player experiences, but complete experiences that are not always ever changing. Like Roblox and Fortnite and all, wonderful stuff. Lots of good, lots of bad, but lots of good. But I also make sure my kids have experienced Mario. They love Mario Kart, Mario Party, and the Mario games, and they played Zelda. And let me see, my son Aiden, he's played Astrobot.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I make sure that my kids, and this is where I think it's really just parents making sure that your kids don't just get stuck on one thing and then never experience anything else in that medium. I think that's just in general, no matter what you're into, even if you're into sports, make sure your kid experiences other sports besides just the one.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just never know what variety of stuff they could be into if you always just, like my kids, they have tablets and Switches and all that. And here's the thing. Yeah. Every time my son's on tablet, he's playing Roblox. Okay. Well, then sometimes we just don't let him have his tablet.
Mm-hmm.
So he's then going to go play other things. Same to my son, Oliver. Every time he has a Switch Lite, he's playing Fortnite. All right. Well, let's take that away and force you to go play something else.
Yeah.
But again, I know a lot of parents aren't like that. They just hand their kids a device and they just go to town on one thing forever. So for some kids, it's Call of Duty every year. They just play that nonstop. I do think that, some of that nostalgia is probably just not going to be there because they're not going to be reminded of it. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I mean, I always think nostalgia is a great feeling, but like you can replace it with other good things.
Yeah.
My only concern would be, because we talked about nostalgia and how awesome it is. Like Eric went way off on nostalgia and how, like, how he's reminded of things even when he plays modern games. Even him playing Plucky Squire, I'm sure made him really have a lot of fond memories of childhood. In addition to just being a fantastic, original, unique game. But it's one of these things where I feel like the danger is kids always wanting something new and carrying that forward into their adulthood where they lose the appreciation for what they once had.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like materialism, like getting a little bit too materialistic. I think that's more of my concern. And I worry about that for my kids too, where we always got something new. We always got something new. And then they just never appreciate what was once there because they're not as nostalgic because it's not reminded of it. Fortnite could go away one day. Roblox can go away. The modes in Roblox could go away. Minecraft might not exist one day. So like they won't have the reminders of the nostalgia as much.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it today, like the Mario movie is incredible. And people that love the Mario movie, a lot of adults that love it, it's nostalgia heaven.
Yeah.
It's not nostalgia for my kids. Right. Yeah. So like they grew up having Mario movies in their life now.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. There's going to be a Zelda movie. They're going to grow up having Zelda movies exist. And they might not even understand all the nostalgia in that. Mm-hmm. Because, it's one of those things like maybe certain teenagers and young 20s might get some nostalgia during the Minecraft movie. That is actually possible because Minecraft's been out a long time. You'll forget that game's been out a while. So I could see maybe there's going to be some nostalgia there, but I kind of just feel like there's nothing we can really do about it at this point. Like video games evolved to this thing where it's this online communities and all. It's wonderful, but there's also the pitfalls if you don't force them to experience things that aren't built around online.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's all the live service stuff too.
Yeah.
There's so much live service, and it's not going to stay live forever. And just thinking about, you guys mentioned. Like finding a Nintendo at a garage sale or something. It's interesting because soon that's going to be gone, right? If we fast forward 20 years, physical media, like physical video games, will be long gone in 20 years. Like I would definitely not think that Nintendo would be still making physical games in 20 years. I know Sony and Microsoft will be long gone. They'll probably be gone within the next 5 to 10 at the most. 10 at the most. I don't see that sticking around too much longer. I even saw today, Ubisoft was on X. Nintendo posted that Prince of Persia is now a code in the box. The new Prince of Persia Lost Crown. It's officially a code in a box. And it's like, really?
I wonder if I'm going to have nostalgia for physical games one day if they go away.
I think a lot of people will have nostalgia for that, like 100%, because where I was going to get it is that in 20 years, you're not going to be able to go to a garage sale and find modern day games. Like that's going to be gone soon. There's already so many people that aren't investing in physical. They're buying digitally, and that's fine. But there's no nostalgia for going to a garage sale and buying somebody's hard drive, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that's going to be unfortunate because obviously garage sale finds really blew up with YouTube, I think, and social media. Because of course everybody started talking about it, and then people started making channels about how they made a business out of garage sale flipping. And when I started seeing that, that's when I was like, man, there's people doing this full time. Like they went pro. They went pro for this. I had no chance of finding anything. And so that's unfortunate in itself because back in the day, like in the 90s, early 2000s, going to a garage sale was exciting because the first thing you did is you're finding who's running this show. That's the first thing I did. There's so many people everywhere. All right, whose garage sale is this? Because I need to ask them if they have any video games. And I remember back in the day too, like I would ask whoever's running the garage sale, and they'd be like, hold on. Let me go inside real quick. Let me go ask so and so if they still want their games. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, really? That's crazy that you'd want to just give them up on the spot like that. But people, I don't know, they don't have the same emotional ties to video games that some of us have like we do. But it was fun back then. Now everybody knows the price on everything, like flea markets too, eBay. It's hard to catch a deal. You go to like back in the day, you used to be able to go to, what do you call it? Goodwill. They have video games there.
Yeah.
Now all the video games are sent to one distribution center, and this has been going on for years.
Is it like Goodwill Finds or something?
Well, there's a video game one, I think, in like South Carolina.
Yeah.
That's where they all go now.
Yeah.
So,
which is crazy.
I mean, hey, I will say I could go to Goodwill. I have one across the street from me. I could go there tomorrow and I'd be willing to probably bet some money that there will at least be one copy of Just Dance there. I won't say what year, but Just Dance, anytime I went, there's Just Dance.
Oh yeah.
There's an old Madden. You can usually find a Connect Sports. Xbox Connect Sports.
Yeah.
So, there are like a few games, but yeah, it's nothing like back in the day. That goes for electronics too. You still find some cool stuff.
Yep.
You ain't gonna find any CRTs there anymore.
No.
Everyone's got CRTs on OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace. Everybody, this is the information era that we're living in. Some people don't know that yet, but that's the era we are in. The answer to everything is on the internet. It's literally in your hand now. It's one step away from being implanted as a chip. But it's all there, man. All the information you'd ever want is right there. So it is hard to get a deal.
Yeah.
Because everybody can be informed if they choose to be.
Nostalgia will be kids looking up Fortnite streams from 20 years ago.
Well, literally, like you look at the young kids now that have YouTube channels.
Oh yeah.
And they could literally just be like, hey, there was me 20 years ago playing Fortnite on YouTube. Look how young I look. It's crazy, but that's definitely the era we're in now. Is like we grew up with the newest thing, I guess you could say, being MySpace, right? It was all about MySpace and customizing your MySpace page. And then, of
Top
course,
8.
yeah, the top 8.
Yeah.
And like literally, if you moved someone out of the top 8, you would get a phone call or you'd get a message like, "What the fuck? What did I do? Did I do something to piss you off? Like, what are you talking about? I'm not in your top 8 anymore." Like, oh my god!
Oh
Come on.
no.
And
Come
didn't
on,
they
man.
add they ended up adding top 16, top 50. Like
Yes.
it got ridiculous.
Yeah, so that way
Yeah.
like nobody gets mad basically. But I feel like that's what we had growing up, right? And
Yeah.
today it's like that's replaced by TikTok, Instagram,
Yeah, a lot of disposable
Twitch.
content.
Twitch and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big baller young kids that are like really using their heads and are
Oh, yeah.
making some good moves
Oh, yeah.
are they have YouTube channels or
Mm-hmm.
they're on Twitch, right? Like if I had a kid, I'd be like, hey, you know what? Let's turn on a camera while you play video games, okay? Let's see if we can start a college fund for you. All right?
Yeah.
Totally, man. That'd be fun. But that's what
Yeah.
kids are doing now. We were doing MySpace and that. Now that's what's up now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. Question for you guys.
Yeah.
So another thing that was kind of huge back in, when we were younger was sports cards. And then it kind of died out. And now it's just massive again. Even just trading cards, I guess, across the board. Do you think there would ever be a time where physical media went away for gaming and then all of a sudden some companies like, you know what, screw it, let's just throw this out in a physical and see, and then have a resurgence?
It's possible. I mean, we just saw that with albums, right? Records.
Mm-hmm.
That's still on the
yeah.
up. That's still on the rise, actually.
Yep.
Because to me, it seemed like, yeah, it seems like a fad, but I hope it does well because it is physical media. I personally don't have interest in it, but I can see the draw, and I hope it does well. Like I'm watching from the sidelines, right? Just hoping it does well because as someone who's a proponent of physical media, we need that.
Mhm.
And I looked into the numbers. Actually, I was guesting on a different podcast, and it was about physical media. It was with John Ebo, and I've found that the numbers for records is actually, it hasn't dipped yet. It's still going up.
Mm-hmm.
Like it hasn't even peaked. I'm like, holy shit! And this has been going on for like 4 or 5 years now that it continues to go up. So that's an example, of course, of that. You got to wonder though. Like, do people have nostalgia for VHS tapes?
True.
I do certain ones.
I do too.
Very specific ones, yes.
Certain ones hit different, like horror or like
Dude, when I'm
maybe
watching
Christmas movies.
when
Yeah,
I'm
I have Home
watching
Alone on
when I'm
VHS.
watching my DVD of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, I glance over. I have the VHS.
Mhm.
And I glance at it and I'm like, oh my God.
The old plastic
just don't-
clamshell Disney movies.
I don't have anything I can plug my VCR into anymore. But
Yeah,
damn, I still have a VCR. Just on the off chance, because I have like home videos and stuff that someday I might want to rewatch, assuming the tape didn't degrade, which maybe it did. I have no idea, but I still have some nostalgia because, I just do. I mean, some people have nostalgia for even DVDs and stuff, which I get.
Mhm.
Music CDs, burning CDs, especially back in the day when we used to burn CDs all the time.
That was the best.
But like,
Burning
there are very specific, even those, some of it's the show, but like I used to watch like a shitload of Cinderella, and every time like I see Cinderella, like the cartoon on like Disney Plus or something, I'm just like, oh my God, I remember like having to fucking rewind, and then like as I got older, I got a little bit, becoming a man, I started realizing, hey, she's kind of good looking in this shot. I'm gonna rewind a little bit more.
That tape was busted.
That tape was rolling, man. Dude. And like like people don't even understand. Like kids don't get today. Like when I'm on, like what was that? We rented a movie on DirecTV, and it was one that we rented before, so I had to rewind it, and they're just sitting there like, "Oh, Dad, well, you're holding down the button, Dad. This is taking forever." I'm like, "What are you talking about? This is taking like 3 seconds."
Yeah.
Back in the day to rewind a tape to watch, it might be like a 10-minute adventure. Remember, be kind, rewind.
Yeah,
because if you don't, you get charged 49 cents.
Yeah, because they because they have a giant stack of like 80 movies. They got to rewind before they can rent them again.
right.
You know, rewinding the tape is, I always thought, similar to returning the shopping cart. You know what I mean? Like, even if they don't charge for it, you should just do it. Yeah, because the next person, if the staff doesn't take care of it, the next person gets the movie, they put it in, and it's right at the end, maybe. Right? Like it's literally in spoiler territory now because you were lazy and didn't rewind the tape.
You got to watch the movie. You hit rewind and go do some chores. It'll be fine.
Exactly. Go do something else. I will say, so, you know, in the other room, I got the really cool Sony 85-inch TV, and we watched the Santa Claus 4K on Disney Plus, and I love the Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I saw it in the theater. Actually, I saw all 3 of them.
Yeah, I did too.
I
love it.
Yeah, I love those movies, and I grew up watching Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Allen, baby.
Love it. Love the show. And, you know, there's three boys in that. I have 2 older brothers. So you could definitely see the writing was good. There was like definitely some very similar stuff growing up with 2 older brothers. But watching that on the big TV in 4K, it's just like, it looks too good. And I know that sounds weird, but with the technology they had back then and the special effects, when you watch it now in 4K, it's like,
it looks weird. Like
it doesn't look right. So literally, I got the TV, and then right over on the mantle, I have an old Zenith furniture TV. It's basically the same one I had growing up, and it's a CRT. And so I put the Santa Claus on, like my lady and I watched it, right? And then the next night she was out doing something, and I'm playing Metaphor Refantasio on the 85. And I was like, you know what? I just want to throw the Santa Claus on the CRT. I want to see how it looks. Like, I want to see if it hits different. You know, like, because she'll get mad if I watch a different Christmas movie without her that we haven't like watched yet this year. So it's like, I'll just throw this one back in because I just want to see for myself as like being a weird, you know, tech person. I just want to see if it hits different. And I got to tell you, it hit way different, like so much better. And it wasn't even the VHS tape. So like, I have Home Alone on VHS, and I put that in every Christmas because I host it here. And so I always throw Home Alone on the old CRT, just literally for nostalgia. But I have a Roku, right? And I have the HDMI to RCA converter. And so I have Roku on my CRT TV.
Nice.
And yeah, it's great. I love it. Like if someone comes over and wants to watch like a football game that's not the Cardinals and the Cardinals are playing, I'm like, oh yeah, throw it on the CRT for you. They're like, well, you got those other TVs in there. I'm like, nah, you got to watch it on the CRT.
You look at the CRT and like it.
Yeah. If you don't like how the color looks, just open up that little panel on the TV and you can manually adjust it to your liking.
Yeah.
I'll even put fake rabbit ears up there for you to maybe try to tune it.
Yeah, dude, I love it. But I will say, so watching the Santa Claus on Disney Plus on the CRT though, so much better. Like give it a try. Give it a try.
Yeah.
It felt right.
All right. I ever get a CRT again?
Yeah.
Well,
not that hard to.
No, it's really not. My parents
getting harder though.
Yeah.
Dude, I Facebook Marketplace, I found the exact. Remember that giant 50-inch my parents had?
Yeah,
I found that
remember.
exact fucking TV. I got to go to Milwaukee to get it, but it's for like $80 and it still works. And I'm like, oh, fuck, man. That'd be the sickest
Yes, it would.
retro gaming TV.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That would look great right back here, too.
Dude, yeah, dude. Put it back there and just plug an NES in or something, or something, start screen to Mario up or something.
That'd be dope.
Oh, dude, that would be so fucking sick. But
Zero input lag.
yeah, people don't know. People don't remember those days anymore.
No.
Zero input lag, like it's crazy because now we're just accepted as part of gaming, and it's like, man, no, there was a time, but just the way it is. You want the better picture quality with the better colors. There's going to be a sacrifice, and it's going to be the response time. Monitors are a little better with it, but no one's buying 85-inch monitors.
No.
Those are ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple out there. I'm like, holy fuck. Okay, maybe if I'm like Jeff Bezos or something, I'm fine. Anyways, all right. Let's go ahead and get to our next topic. Because, dude, I don't know what the fuck happens, but every week there's something Switch 2 going on, and I don't know why. I can't explain it. It just happens. And this week we had two big things happen. There was the potential Joy-Con leak. I air quote the leak, not because it isn't real, because I don't know. The images are blurry as shit. I don't know if they're real. But it just kind of looks exactly like what we had leaked from the October 2023 prototype thing. It kind of looks like the same thing. The only new part on that leak was that there is, it looks like there might be IR cameras on both controllers instead of just the right one. What the purpose for that is, don't know, because they barely even use the one. I can understand keeping the one for backwards compatibility. Don't know why we have to have one on the left. Maybe it somehow helps with motion controls. I have no idea. Or maybe it's just to make it more possible for multiplayer. I guess you only had to use like the one Joy-Con and like 1-2 switch and pass it around. Now both have it. I don't know. It's kind of weird because there wasn't a lot of games that used it. So it's a little weird if that's the new controller feature along with that extra button, but whatever. Don't really feel like we need to talk about that. I feel like we kind of went over most of that with the prototype leak. But there were two other leaks in particular that are interesting because for some reason, some Chinese manufacturers decided, hey, we're going to release our Switch 2 accessories right now before they've announced it and before you can buy it. Why? I do not know.
Bring it up.
A couple interesting things. So I'm going to share the one. This is the one where, like, I don't know how much we can read into this one, but one has a Switch 2 logo. So we'll start with that. It's a case. So give me a second here. We will share. Yeah, sure. I'm sure. Yeah, that's the one. I will share this one here. So as you see, there's a Switch 2 logo.
That's crazy.
Is that the official Switch 2 logo? Probably not. I assume it's not. If it is, that's wild. It's wild that Nintendo gave an accessory manufacturer the Switch 2 logo. Pretty crazy, unless they're an official partner. But hey,
they ain't going to be official partner anymore.
Yeah, they wouldn't be anymore. They lost that licensing right. But the interesting thing about this is, here's what we basically learn out of this. The size of this case, this is like a very basic Switch case, right? Like you guys know the really basic. You basically just fit your Switch, you close it, you're good. It's 11.6 inches wide. Now, a basic Switch OLED case is 10.6 inches. So that's like a whole extra inch. So it kind of lets you know this is big. This thing's bigger than Switch 2. That's one of the big takeaways. The other one is, let's see if I can go to the back, if there's a back image here. Yeah, there's like a little back image here on this one. There's a couple of these cases out here. This one has like two giant indents. There's other Switch 2 cases that only have the two indents at the top where the LR and ZR are, and nothing else. So we kind of learned from the cases in general that it doesn't look like Nintendo made the controllers any more ergonomic. So, hey, Switch grip companies, you're probably really, really happy right now.
Yeah.
So there's that. But as you can see, like, it's kind of funny. They sort of mock a Switch 2 in there. Look at the bezels on that. That's ridiculous. Like, it is such a fake mock-up. It is so ridiculous.
I kind of want to buy this because of how ridiculous it is.
It's such a ridiculous mock-up in there. Anyways, yeah, so that's like one of them, right? It's not the most important one, but it is one that I guess kind of lets you know. I mean, if the Switch 2 logo is real, I guess then it actually is a bigger deal. But then what we actually got is screen protectors, and this is cool because there's a rumor that we get this switched here, replace. There is a rumor that the screen is 8 inches. We still call it a rumor. It comes from Nate the Hate from last year because even the shipping data, nothing we've gotten has confirmed an 8-inch screen. So it's always just been a rumor. Well, then we scroll down and we got these screen protectors. So the thing about the screen protector, the one in front is a regular edition Switch. We know this because the light sensor hole is there. Okay. The light sensor hole that has a little notch there between the two on the outside, that's a light sensor thing. The original Switch has that. The one on like Switch OLED put it on top. They moved the position to it on top. So we know that is a Switch 1 screen protector. The one behind it, the big boy, that is Switch 2. So that's how big the screen is in comparison to the original Switch.
That is insane.
Starting to feel like that 8-inch rumor looks like it's true. That is a massive size increase. That's like going from like a 32-inch to a 50-inch TV. That's great. It's huge. Massive. Obviously, we don't know if it's OLED. We don't know if it's LCD or what they're doing. We can have all our guesses on that. But so we have that stuff, which is really, really fascinating because we have actual physical products.
So what do they do if they're just guessing on this? Because when I saw this, I was assuming they want to be first in the search.
Yeah. They want to be first. So if you don't pay a super attention to all of this stuff, the third-party manufacturers of these accessories have been like leaking shit left and right for Switch. Like it's like half the headlines on Switch 2 is coming from these manufacturers. Like even the prototype leak, that's from a manufacturer. So from like an accessory manufacturer. So basically, obviously this company's trying to jump the gun so they can be the number one search. So then they can have hopefully increased sales at launch. But I don't think that this stuff is fake. I think it's based on the dimensions Nintendo handed to them and the CAD files and everything, just to kind of so you can get your dimensions and make your products. So it's probably legit in terms of like it'll fit at your Switch 2. Again, it doesn't really tell us anything other than it's another Switch, and like we didn't already know that at this point, and that it has a big screen, which is something that's been rumored for. So there's nothing new. It's more so just like kind of confirming that hey, it's a big boy. It's going to dwarf your original Switch.
Dude, if Nintendo went from red branding to black branding, that would go so hard.
What I would have liked in that photo, it would have been cool if they had a Switch one and then a Switch OLED behind it, then the Switch 2, because the OLED screen's bigger. So it would have been kind of cool to see the comparison of the OLED screen size in comparison. But it does look bigger than the OLED screen. But it would have been cool to see like the size differences. So anyways, that's kind of interesting. And then we had a report by Nintenduo. They are a Spanish website. They are considered fairly reliable by most people in Spain. Like they're not people that try to pass around fake stuff when they're the source. And they apparently have 6 different game developers. Like different studios. So it could be multiple sources each studio. We don't know. But they said sources from 6 different game development studios that have told them the Nintendo Switch 2 is launching June or early July. Now, this is the most well-sourced of, assuming that they're not lying, of course, this is the most well-sourced date we've had yet for any sort of release. Pretty crazy. Right. Absolutely insane. So now you're like, okay. And they kind of concluded that most of their sources are sort of hinting that it's like kind of going to be like the middle of June, which feels like right after Summer Game Fest or something like that. Could be possible. Absolutely. They could use Summer Game Fest to help promote. Maybe Nintendo actually participates in it. Who knows? So that would be very interesting timing. I have said for a long time, based on manufacturing leaks, that it's coming first half. June is first half. June is also still Q1 for Nintendo's fiscal quarter. So getting the system out in Q1, I think, is important for Nintendo because it gives them the entire fiscal year then to garner those sales and get their numbers back up. So I do think that Nintendo wants a Q1 launch. I think the sooner the better, but is this going to end up being, obviously it's not revealed yet, so we don't know. We obviously know the prior rumor from other weeks where there was like, a January to March thing. Who knows, right? Like, here's the thing, conflicting rumors. This is all still rumors. One caveat I toss out there, because I haven't paid a lot of attention to Nintenduo over the years. Of course, it's a foreign news outlet, so I don't pay as much attention. In this report, they also said there was a rumor of the price, that the price would be over a rumored price, not a fact, not from their sources, but a rumored price of over 400 euros. It's expensive. It's expensive. Here's the thing, though. When you follow the trail of the rumor, it goes through like 3 different websites and ends up all the way back at this Japanese analyst who basically just said, yeah, I don't think it's going to be more expensive than $4.99 US. So he was just putting his opinion out there, and it got mistranslated.
That's a lot.
By like Metro.uk as an actual price rumor. And then from there it got passed around, including on the Nintenduo website, all the way up to this original report they have where they're also tossing it in. It's not actually a rumor. There is no rumor. There's no rumor that that's the price. Literally, it's like Nintendo just saying, man, I think Switch 2 is going to cost $6.99, baby. And all of a sudden it's everywhere. It's everywhere, all over the internet. No sourcing, no nothing. It's just a guess. So that does, for me, a little bit go like, God, I found this out by just clicking like 4 times.
Yeah.
And Nintenduo has multiple articles, talking about this rumors of the price. And I'm like, man, it kind of makes me a little suspect of their integrity in the reporting, because look, people question my integrity. I'll at least go try to find where the original information came from. It's not that hard. These websites are all linking to where they got stuff from, so it's not that difficult. So it's a little sus to me that, again, this doesn't mean they don't have sources, of course. It doesn't mean that they're not reliable when they are the source, because this is something that they're the source on. Other things I find weird about it with the June, and I'm not trying to cast doubt on this, by the way. June very well it's first half. I think any month in the first half is possible, besides like January, February. I don't think that, so I think it would have been announced by now if it was those months. I do think that it's a little interesting that this report came out and nobody has corroborated it. If 6 different developers told them June, they didn't tell any other outlet. No other European outlet. Eurogamer didn't corroborate it. Video Game Chronicle didn't corroborate it. IGN didn't. Nobody has. They're the only people saying it. I find that to be quite interesting, because usually when something seems to have some seriousness to it, there's a ton of corroborations after the original report. PH Brazil comes out and puts out there's been an internal delay. It's going to be coming out 2025. Instant corroboration by like several different outlets with their own sources, independent sources. So to me, I do find it interesting that nothing's corroborating it, but that's the thing. It's a rumor. It's just like the January to March Hom rumor from China. There was nothing corroborating that either, right? The only corroboration was like PH Brazil, who's been consistently saying March for a while, but now he's just not talking about it at all. So I just sit back and go, I don't know if this is legit. It's a real media outlet that is considered to be reliable, saying it and saying they have 6 sources. And then I reached out to some developers to talk about this as well, because I'm like, hey, look, I actually know developers, so I'm not. Look, let's not fuck around. Is this actually industry chatter going around that's coming out in June? And the only thing I actually got a lot, but I might go over a couple things later to add to it. Remember, it says specs. We're gonna go over a couple things later, okay. But everyone here knows what I'm talking about. But there's certain things I can't say. But I will note that the original reason I reached out was about June, and all I was really told from 2 different developers is that Q1 fiscal year Nintendo. Okay. That's April, May, June. So yeah, June's in there. But I literally said, yeah, but like June specifically, like, no, we haven't heard anything about June specifically. These are like, by the way, like people at companies that have dev kits, and these are big fucking companies. Like they might have shit at launch kind of companies. So like they would probably know. So like I kind of have a little bit of doubt on the June part, but it also could just be because Nintendo hasn't actually told anyone June. They just said Q1. So anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at. What are your guys' thoughts on all this? Because obviously I make videos on this stuff and talk about it all the time. So I'll get into the other stuff I've heard. I swear, if I'm on like comicbook.com tomorrow or something. Anyways, I'm willing to say like, hey, this is what I was told. It is what it is. I'm pretty confident in it. So what do you guys think about this stuff? Start with Stash.
Yeah.
So obviously a lot of takeaways here. The carrying case for the Switch 2. Whether it's real or not in that logo. I mean, if you look at the Switch logo, it's obviously it's like the same. The colors have changed.
Yeah.
And there's a 2 on the end, right?
Yeah.
Same font, same everything else. Maybe I don't know. I just don't put a lot of stock into it, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe if you want to think it's the name.
Yeah, I think it's the name.
It could be the name that maybe that confirmed. Like they know it's called Switch 2, they just don't have the official logo.
Yeah, and maybe it is because they want the branding to be consistent. And they I could see them using the same fonts and everything else. So maybe it is. Either way, we'll find out in time. I think the other thing that I guess leaked out that was more interesting was seeing the tempered glass for the screen. That was interesting because I looked it up after as well. Cause I was like, does the Switch have tempered glass? And it doesn't. The screen's not tempered glass. So I presume this would be insinuating that the Switch 2 will have a tempered glass screen. Would you guys think the same? Right now it has I looked it up, some sort of like scratch resistant glass, but also a glass that if you drop it, it basically won't shatter, some sort of shatter proof glass. But I feel like tempered glass would look very nice.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like I have an arcade one up, pinball. I have the Star Wars one and I modded it, of course. So I have like 100 tables on it. And one of the mods I actually did though was remove the plexiglass and I custom ordered tempered glass for it. And I kid you not. It feels like it goes from playing the pinball with smudged glasses to playing the pinball with crystal clear glasses. Does that make sense? Like it looks like you're going 720p to 1080. It's a nice jump. So I was like, if we get tempered glass on the Switch screen, that'd be pretty sick. So I was happy to see that. As far as the size, it's like, we know it's going to be a bigger screen. Everything about the Switch 2 is going to be bigger and better. So obviously, the screen is going to be bigger. Seeing it next to the Switch's 6.2 inch screen, that was cool to see. I mean, it's a good visual for sure. As far as the development studios that are stating it's due to release in June or early July, look, the United States is far and away the largest market for Nintendo. I don't know that they're going to release a Switch in early July. The Switch 2. I don't think that would be a good launch month personally for North America. It's summer. It's hot as balls. Some states is really hot, like Arizona. People don't leave their house. They only leave to go to work and to go to a swimming pool. Otherwise, they're sitting there in air conditioning. So, and also, we do have Independence Day. and a lot of people do try and get away
Mhm.
and go on vacation. I know here in Arizona, everyone's trying to drive up north to where it's a little bit cooler. I don't know if the middle of summer is a good call.
Mhm.
If you're going to do summer, I think if we take this seriously, where they say between June and July, I think we got to say June for sure.
Mm.
And to just refresh everyone's memory, the GBA did come out in June, released June 11th, 2001. And I actually had it just in time for summer school, which I was pretty pumped about because, clearly the only class I ever failed, and I got a D. It was American history, but my teacher was a mess that year. He was in the middle of a divorce. He was taking it out on all the students. Pop quizzes left and right. I'm like, we didn't even talk about this shit. What are you talking about? Like literally, this is the only class I've ever failed, and a lot of other people too. So I had to go to summer school. And I will say this is a good story. This is the teacher, Mr. G. His name's Mr. Glassman. That's his name.
Nice.
Dude, that's awesome.
Dude,
That's badass.
most badass
That's
teacher.
sick.
Mhm.
So not only did I get to play GBA all the time in class, but we brought PlayStation 1 in all the time. Put Tony Hawk up on, the big TVs in the corner, the CRT. And he let us play as long as our homework was done. And we kept the volume low. So right there, badass. But the two other things he did for our class, I'll never forget. He took us to see 2 movies at the movie theater because it involved world history. This is the summer of 2001. The first movie he took us to see, A Knight's Tale. Right?
Very nice. Very
God,
nice.
I love that movie.
Yep.
Dude, so badass to be able to go to like the movie theater when you're in summer school. But the second movie, even better. Gladiator. Dude, we literally got to see it in the theater
That's
Heck
sick.
yeah.
for summer school. Yeah, so I had to tell that story because I know that shit won't fly today. There's no way.
No way.
No way. Yeah. Someone's probably getting sued, or teachers getting sued, or the school district because their child was exposed to something. Yeah. So much fun though, man. But point is, okay, June, the beginning of summer, right? School here, in Arizona gets out towards like the 3rd week in May. I don't know about you guys, but is everyone out of school by the beginning of June?
Usually,
Like
Yeah.
for public
First week-
schools?
First week.
of June.
Yeah.
Around here, it also depends if we had a bunch of snow days or not.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like when I did get the GBA, I thought the timing was perfect because it's literally, I just got out of school. I
Mhm.
can really, play it a lot. So I think there's always that for releasing a game console at the beginning of summer. I just don't know. I do still think it's coming earlier than that.
I
I
do
just
too.
do. I just do. I am always going to be on board no matter what Nintendo says. They don't need to tell me. They don't need to make an official announcement. Okay. I'm always going to believe that it was internally delayed. There's no way you can tell me, unless it's Nintendo directly telling me and they have to tell the truth, that it wasn't internally delayed.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could tell by the games released this year. Obviously, there's a lot of signs for that, but I don't think there was ever any intention of the Switch 1 going solo for 8 years, which obviously, if it's releasing anytime past March 3rd, this is 8 years, man. 8. That is insanity. What about March 10th? What about Mar-10? Mario Day.
Hell yeah.
I always
That would
still
be
think that's a
amazing.
good
That would be
idea.
awesome.
Like if we're going to get a 3D Mario at launch, right? And it's like, again, it's 8 years. since we got Mario Odyssey. Like, obviously Odyssey came out. What was it in October, November? Was it of
Yeah, it was late. It
2017?
was later in that year. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll be in the 8th year come 2025 without a 3D Mario, and that's a long wait. Like, Mario 64 came out in September 96. Super Mario Sunshine came out in summer of 2002. So that was a 6-year gap. We're looking at 8 years. So Sunshine came out in 2002. Then Galaxy came out in 2007. Right? Galaxy 2 came out in 2009.
I think so.
This is a long wait.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really long wait for a 3D Mario. So that would be cool to get it though, March 10th. I don't think it's going to be that early though either.
Yeah.
I would love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of the confusion is happening because people are trying to look at what Nintendo did with the Wii U to Switch, and it's a completely different situation, right? Like the Wii U was so bad at the end, dude. We were like wanting games, and Nintendo was clearly moving on. So they announced the Switch in October, and it was kind of like, or October of 2016. And they were like, look, guys, we're still doing it. We're still kicking. Nintendo's still, going to go on. Look at this amazing console. It'll be here next year. They're not in that situation anymore. Switch is still exciting. It is declining a little bit. We're seeing numbers, declining, but we're not in a situation where it's like, we need to know about the next console yet. I think that from announcement to launch is going to be very small for a few reasons. Like, they don't need to announce it. There's no rush. But they also don't want like scalpers getting it. They don't want, they want to have enough at launch so that there's, people can get them easily. So yeah, I just think that we can't look at the past to try to predict what Nintendo's doing because we're in just a much different situation. I think earlier than June, July makes a lot of sense. Because I also think that Nintendo is a very safe company now, especially under new leadership. So they're going to look like, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Switch had a beautiful launch in March. So I think, dude, like late January, early February, we'll probably hear about Switch 2. And then maybe as early as March, like Mario Day would be amazing. Late March, maybe we get it. April. I don't know. June, July seems a little bit too late.
Yeah,
I mean, anytime would be good, but
March 20th, what Xenoblade comes out, and March 20th is the first day of spring.
Yeah.
Is that right?
2021st. Yeah. Somewhere in that area. Yeah.
Yep.
And there is going to be some crossover too.
Oh, I just want to note. Some people were like, "Oh, but Japan, like summer begins June 1st." All right, cool. Well, this is a Spanish outlet, and I looked it up. Their summer begins June 21st. Yeah, point that out. Like, I don't know if people realize we're all in the northern hemisphere, so our summers begin basically at the same time. It's based on an astrological event. That's why it happens around June 20th every single year, because it's based on an astrological event. Japan, for some reason, is different, and they go June 1st. But then China, that's like right across that little piece of water from them, they're June 21st. So, like, I don't know why Japan is June 1st. They just said, yeah, we're summers when we say it is, motherfucker. They probably have some tradition or something from the ancient days on why they do it.
It's just easier to say it starts and you just block it off in months.
Yeah.
Full months.
But technically, spring for most of the world is March 20th to June through June 20th.
I think it's important, and we've said this before, but for it to release earlier in the calendar year so Nintendo can let it cook.
Yeah.
And so can have the big launch. And so all the content creators of the world can put out their videos on the Switch too and give Nintendo all that free advertising leading up to the first holiday on the market, which will act as a essentially a second launch. If you launch it in the fall or in the summer or the late summer, and then I think the holidays are too close. I think you need a bigger gap there to really have two like huge buying sessions for this.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. And it's like, again, I was on N64 Josh's podcast last week. I said the same thing. If it's not broke, don't fix it. We have new ownership. And I do expect some things to go differently here. And it seems like it's going to. Every Nintendo console that has ever came out has had gimmicks. Something gimmicky, right? Something new. In the way you control a game. But this might be the first time that we truly get something truly iterative. Like even the Super Nintendo wasn't iterative because it added a lot of buttons. It added 4 new buttons.
Yep.
And obviously one of them being the shoulder buttons, which was never done before.
I still think there'll be some kind of gimmick. Whether it's I don't think it's gonna be major, but like even the Switch, I mean, besides the Switch gimmick, had like the HD Rumble, right? And that was like their big selling point. I think it's gonna have something like that.
Do you think it's going to be the DLSS?
It could be.
Or do you think they're not going to talk about it much? Because it could confuse the consumer.
It's got to be something that's easily told to the consumer. Like HC Rumble, I got it. When the dude was shaking the ice cubes, I was like, oh my God. But like, so it has to be easily understandable.
I don't know if I don't think the average consumer trusts AI. And I think a big reason why they don't trust it is because also that they don't understand it. And I think that's a hard sell to make that like a big gimmick. So if you're going to use it, you might actually be better off not really, if you're Nintendo, not really talking about it much, just like letting it kind of do its thing in the background.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
If you do talk about it, maybe don't mention that it's AI. Don't say the words AI.
Yeah. Because I think there's a lot of distrust there. And there's a variety of reasons why. I think Hollywood plays a large role in that with all the movies over the years. It's all the programming. We've seen it all.
But
so
also,
I think a lot of people don't trust.
Are we on board still that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be releasing with the system? Could we see a Metroid Prime 4 in the spring?
I think it's a launch window game. I've always thought launch window is a big, for Nintendo's launch window, the way they define it is 6 to 9 months.
Yeah.
So it's like that's a long period. I definitely expect it out within the first 9 months, right?
Yeah. Similar to like what Odyssey was the same year, same launch window.
That wouldn't be a bad August game, probably.
I don't think so either. Like if the Switch 2 comes out in the spring, like the beginning of spring, not June, which like June for Arizona is summer. It's 120 out in June. So if it came out around like March, April, or even early May, but March or April, I think Metroid would do really well as a summer title, like you were saying. Like, when did Super Metroid come out? Because I distinctly remember getting my issue of Nintendo Power in the mail with Super Metroid on the cover. Literally, like when I was a kid. And 94? I remember, I know it was 94. I feel like it was the summer. March 19th, 1994.
Oh, yep.
Oh, North America was April 18th.
April 18th, yep.
Okay.
That's got to be close to launch. They need to launch something. I feel like to make their marketing and like their point across where you need to upgrade, they need to compare a Switch game running on there to a Switch game running on Switch 2, whatever the hell it's called. So I feel like you need a graphically, like Breath of the Wild was that game. Breath of the Wild was like, man, this is the next generation. I feel like they do need a game like that close to launch or at launch.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I do
So.
too. And like, I really just don't think Metroid can be a launch title.
Yeah.
Nintendo knows that. It'll get overshadowed. Whether it's by their own first party titles or by other third parties. And at the same time, Nintendo's always done this, or at least in recent launches. They're not going to put out all their heavy hitters at launch, because if you do that, you're kind of screwing over the third parties.
Mhm.
People only have like so much money to be able to buy games at launch. And even if they have all these games ready to go, they're not going to all have them all at launch,
No.
because that's how you let your third parties win too.
Mhm.
That's how you play nice in the sandbox. So I think Metroid would totally get overshadowed though.
Hmm.
I don't know what other first person games are going to be at launch, or if we will have any. I don't know if we'll have a Call of Duty. But they need to be I've said this a million times. They need to be very strategic with their marketing team about how they roll out Metroid Prime 2 and 3. And again, like we've seen the book coming out
Yep.
by Piggyback Games. Something's brewing. It's coming out in the summer. I also wonder if you're releasing a book about Metroid Prime right now that's coming out in the summer and you've announced it. It says it's about Metroid Prime, like the series. You got to wonder, is Metroid Prime 4 in that? Why would you release a book in the summer and only include 1, 2, and 3 when Metroid Prime 4 is coming out this year? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like looking at that. I'm like, something looks off about this.
What day does it come out?
I think it just says summer. Let's see.
So if it has a release date, I'm curious. Could that be a Thursday?
July 31st.
Oh, that literally July 31st?
It seems like a placeholder date.
Yeah.
Says
It is a Thursday.
Oh my God, it is a Thursday. Holy shit. Is that the day for Metroid Prime 4?
I mean, think about that.
If 4 is in
you
the
want
book.
to? Wouldn't you want to release it that day?
They do game releases on Thursday now.
Mhm.
Just saying.
You have to, I've said this a million times. You have to pull out all the stops to get Metroid
Mm-hmm.
on the map for casual gamers or people who are even hardcore gamers but have never had any interest in Metroid. I mean,
I think it's super easy to make it casual. You Halo-fy it. You make multiplayer
Yeah.
obviously it's going to have a single player. You make multiplayer. That'll be the game to get, dude. And then you get younger gamers getting it too. Online shooter. Like,
yeah,
you Halo-fy it. That's the answer.
I agree that that's a big part of it is
Yeah.
multiplayer. Andres has brought that up a few times in the past as well. We've talked about it. Eric, I know you brought up about multiplayer. That's a really big deal.
Mhm.
That could even they make it an evergreen title.
Yeah.
It's got to be a really good multiplayer though.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like definitely like a worthwhile multiplayer, especially when we're now gonna have Call of Duty.
Yep.
You know?
And maybe Nintendo does something weird where it's like, I've seen this before, I think in Doom, but there's like a story game that you could buy, and then the multiplayer you could buy. So it's like 2 options. Maybe the multiplayer is like 20 or something. A lot more accessible. Some people don't want the story. There might be people that won't want the story, which is weird, but
They could give it for free to NSO members or
That
NSO
would be
expansion pack.
huge.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
they need to get it in more people's hands, which is why I've always thought this too. This is why we got F-099. If you're going to reboot something for a new audience, F-099 was the perfect way to plant a seed at a low cost while also gaining more subscribers for NSO. Like I thought it was brilliant because I'm like, when I saw F-099, I'm like, this is great. Okay. This is how you plant the seed for when you release the actual game. like a new game, whether it be F-Zero GX remastered or an actual new title. And we've seen it too with the GBA games. I mean, they literally released the Japanese GBA F-Zero on our NSO.
Yep.
There's something going on with F-Zero.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you introduce F-Zero to all these new Switch owners that aren't, old heads like us? Because there's obviously a ton of casual Switch owners. You would only bring this out if you were going to be investing in it in another way. I'm sure there's a game in development. It would only make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, we can say it for a lot of stuff. DK too. Obviously, it is the 30th anniversary of DK Country, but they have a lot of stuff in motion between the theme park expansion in 2 countries, in the US and in Japan, and the Mario movie, the next Mario movie.
Yes.
From what I've heard, there's a contract for a standalone Donkey Kong movie.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you're not going to invest all this money if you don't have games lined up. Like, there's games in development right now. They could be done. They're not going to release them, though, until it's perfect timing. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, their financial, year goes through March 31st. Wouldn't you want to have the Switch 2 out for as much as your first quarter as you possibly can to just boost your next year's profits and stuff? Like,
I've been on the April train.
Yeah,
A little bit now.
I agree. That's what they did with Switch 1. But again, like Switch 1, as you said in Ten Talk, it was a different story. I mean, that Christmas, they needed to put out the NES Classic Edition in order to have brand presence.
Oh yeah,
at the brick and mortar stores, like, and they did it. I mean, dude, they killed it.
Yeah.
They sold so many NESs, like it was perfect. It was a perfect way actually to get everybody talking about Nintendo again and bring back all the old school fans. Like it was a great thing. So they had a great plan there and it worked out. But otherwise, if they would have just had nothing, like the NES Classic Edition really springboarded them and allowed them to have brand momentum for sure. So yeah, you got to wonder though, because like this situation is totally different. It has so much momentum.
And
then we're starved as far as like waiting for a new console. I'm not saying there's not games, and I'm not saying there's not thousands of hours behind me that need to be played, like we all have with backlogs. But as far as like 8 years is insane wait. This is the longest wait by light years. Were you gonna say Nintendo?
I was just gonna say because Furukawa didn't he tweet out that they were gonna like it's officially backwards compatible?
Yeah,
I feel like you need to double up on that. You need to have your Switch 2 presentation, and you need to say like Switch games will run on this, because I feel like you're losing a little bit of momentum and a little bit of like people are looking ahead now, and they're like, I don't want to buy this. Like they may have not seen the tweet. They may not even know like what's going on.
They probably didn't see the tweet.
Yeah. So
they
it's like
have no clue what's going on.
Dude, they need to, I feel like they need to address it, because for the first time you're kind of seeing Switch not struggle, but like you're seeing it decline a little bit. It's not breaking records anymore. Mario Luigi was a good example of it just kind of came and went. So you're going to see that more and more. Games are struggling. They've always been struggling on Switch, but now it's even more apparent with newer games coming out. So yeah, it'll come. It'll come. I want to say like what do you guys think? As early as end of January?
For the reveal?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think Nintendo cares about.
I think this year's a wash. It would be weird.
Yeah, I think so too. I would be shocked. I would be happy. We all would, but I'm not expecting it. People are just so busy.
Yeah.
People are
Yeah.
really busy that news could get missed.
Oh yeah.
January, again, like when you look at the retail cycle, people are spent literally and figuratively in January.
Mm-hmm.
They're tired from the holidays. They're trying to recoup their cost. They don't want to buy anything. Nobody goes out to eat. People barely go to the bars. Like there's retail dies. It goes into hibernation in January and in February, and it comes out to play again in March.
Yep.
And then it starts going hard all the way up until, basically right now, because it's going to die off again in a little bit. Because everyone's, for the most part, people have picked up what they want to get. They made the really big purchases during Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
And now it's going to go back to sleep. So I don't know. Do you want to put that out there in January? Because again, tax return time, March. If you say, hey, like,
I don't know though, because I still think they're going to have. If I had to bet, I think the next thing we're going to hear from Nintendo is probably a direct mini in January. Probably a lot of third-party stuff. That will probably be when you get the Metroid 2 and 3 collection. So maybe January doesn't work. Maybe February. But I think I'd be shocked if it wasn't in the first 2 months.
We also have to factor in that Nintendo's marketing is going to have a very, very full plate. Because you have Mario's 40th. You have Nintendo, the NES, what started it all here in the US, their biggest market. The NES launched in 1985. Like we got a big 40-year celebrations and a console launch.
Oh, dude.
And a Zelda movie update. Obviously, we're going to
have
that
an
next
NES
year.
special edition.
I know. And that's the thing. If you launch early, like if you launch, say in March or April, then maybe, just maybe, you could have a variant out for the holidays. And think about how many people would double dip.
Oh,
I mean, I would.
Yeah.
I totally would. Like I have my GBA SP NES edition.
Oh, yep.
And I adore that thing. I love it. I bought that when I was, I was in high school, working 2 jobs, making jack shit. But I had to have it. You know what I mean? Because it's an NES edition. That's the year I was born. Like, it's special to me. So, I think about how full their hands are going to be, because they also have to figure out Metroid. They have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Because they've spent so much time and money on Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, that needs to hit.
You can't afford. Yeah, you can't afford to not pull out all the stops.
Yep.
All the stops. You can't hold anything back. You have to get creative. So it's like, man, they have that, the anniversaries, and the console launch, the Zelda movie. I presume we might get an update too on the Mario movie, the sequel. Is that set to come out in 2026? And I would think that we would hear something next year on the Zelda movie.
Yeah.
Like something will come out and
the cast reveal or something.
Yeah. Something. They're gonna just have a jam-packed year.
Jack Black, Zelda.
Oh my god!
Please, not. We're good with Jack Black. He's great in the Mario, but
he's in the Minecraft, baby.
I know.
My name's Steve.
Man. I have very faint hope for that movie, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
As someone who doesn't really like Minecraft, I'll probably end up liking the movie,
right?
To be honest, because of Jack Black,
right?
I think that's the whole purpose for people who don't like Minecraft. You like Jack Black, you might like the movie.
We in the chat, the Great Reset said the Mario movie has a set date, and he is right. I remember.
April.
that
Oh
now.
yeah, April 3rd.
April.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for reminding me the Great Reset. Yeah. So April 3rd. So of course we're gonna hear
Probably
about the Mario movie
December.
in 2025.
I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there will be a trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably a
100%.
trailer like towards the end of the year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would expect that, and I would expect a casting reveal at the least for Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, probably. For sure, yeah.
Because then I think in 2026 we will probably see the Zelda movie trailer
Mhm.
because it's Zelda's 40th in 2026.
Oh my god.
Yeah, everything's gonna start hitting.
Yeah.
Like these next two, 2025, 2026 is so many anniversaries. It's gonna be nuts, man. It's gonna be fun.
R.I.P. to everyone's wallet. Seriously.
Right.
I mean, just off the top of my head, 2026 is Super Mario 64's 30th,
Oh my god.
which is gross to
Jesus.
think about.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's wild. So it's gonna be fun. They're gonna have their hands full. I hope they're gonna pay them well.
Mm-hmm.
This is where they
So-
make a name for themselves.
So, this is all cool. Switch to conversations rock.
Mhm.
Little tidbit here, little detail. How deep do I want to go? I won't go too deep. I won't go too deep. I
Yeah.
gotta speak in generalities.
I like when Nate has his like mob voice.
Yeah, I gotta speak in I gotta speak in generalities. Talked to a couple people today, but so there's been rumors about like the power of the Switch 2 for a while. But like for a lot of us, it's just hearsay kind of thing. Like, yeah, okay. You know, T239 sounds cool. Ampere, maybe the A78C processors. What does this really even mean? Because like most people don't give a shit about tech specs. Just to be honest, like there's a reason Nintendo doesn't give us tech specs. Most people generally don't give a shit. It's does the game run well? So a lot of general consumers just kind of are like, all right, what other system can we compare to so we can have an idea of what games will look like and play like and feel like on the system? Like, because there's systems that already exist. So what do we got going? Well, for the longest time, there's been all these rumors about it being like, oh, a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 4 Pro in like, you know, handheld mode and maybe in docked mode, getting up to a Series S, yada, yada. It actually has more RAM than a Series S. Well, today, I heard some pretty much similar things. Better than the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Damn.
Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting when you think about that. But here's the thing. That's cool, but that's like a home console. How about handhelds? A lot of handhelds out there with PCs. There's a popular one you guys have heard of called the Steam Deck. It's the biggest handheld PC device. How does it compare to that? It's better. And not just by like a little bit. Check out the ROG Ally top spec. Just saying what I've been told today.
That's huge.
Not going to go into anything else. There's a lot of other specifics I'm not going to touch on, but
So that's the comparison.
that's the comparison of somebody who has physically touched the system.
For anyone who's not familiar with the ROG Ally, I looked into it. I looked into the specs.
Sure. Correction. Dev kit. They touched a dev kit. Just to be clear. Not a final retail. Dev kit.
It's already been clipped, Nate. It's too late.
It's already been clipped. I'm fucked.
The ROG is extremely powerful, and it can play every major AAA game. You name it, it can play it. I've watched videos on it. It can run Red Dead 2 at 60 frames per second, which is something I called on this podcast months ago. Mentioned that. I expect that for Switch 2. But it can play Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, any game that you think is a benchmark, right, for fidelity and for performance, the Ally can run. In fact, I think I read a week or two ago, just a random interview, but Phil Spencer, Uncle Phil, was saying that his favorite console to play when he's not playing, on PC or Xbox. He plays the Ally all the time. All the time. He said because it can literally play everything, and it looks fantastic. So yeah, I looked at those specs, and it is better than PS4 Pro, and the Ally is better than Xbox Series S, actually by quite a few miles.
Now, how much is the Ally?
It was, you know what? The Ally was just on special for Black Friday at Best Buy for $349.
Okay.
And it's got an 8-inch screen that's 120 hertz. The Switch screen is 60.
Because I was gonna say Nintendo's not gonna take a loss.
And the screen's glass too.
Yeah.
Xbox
glass.
is fine with taking a loss because they'll do Game Pass and whatever, but Nintendo will make money on it.
Yeah.
So interesting. Okay. $400, man.
Yeah. It kind of feels like $400, sweet spot.
That's what I've been expecting. Have you guys? Like, is that what you've been mentally preparing for? Is
I figured Switch OLED's 50, $350 normal MSRP. So I'm like, $50 more than that, $400. The Switch OLED's been the top selling platform for Nintendo since it came out. Obviously, we all know about inflation and how the world economy and how money's not worth quite as much as it once was. So a $50 increase for the new system, I think is actually acceptable by a general consumer. I think once you start getting to $450, $500, now you're getting to where people are like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But $400, I think, might be the new sweet spot. Like $300 was back in 2017, clearly the sweet spot. I think $400 today might be the new sweet spot.
I'm willing to pay $400 plus because this.
Look, they charge $1,000 and this thing's got GTA 6. I'm there. Like, come on.
But I do want them to future proof it a little bit because I think we're gonna be doing the same song and dance, and I can't do math, but 20, 30 something. But yeah, I think this console is going to be another 7 to 8 years if they're sticking by this. So don't cheap out. They're still going to make it affordable and enticing, but yeah, 400. I was thinking.
And I know some people will be like, "Well, there's not as much RAM in it as like the Ally," and I get that. A lot of it's just how things are done and how things are made. Obviously, I didn't get into the weeds with these developers to be like, "Oh, was that with DLSS on or off or all that stuff?" Who knows? Because who gives a fuck? If the games look great and run great, that's all we really care for shit. If it's using DLSS, fuck it. I don't give a shit. Like if I'm playing 60 FPS, 3D Zelda in 3 years at even just 1080p on a handheld, fuck yeah, dude, let's go. I ain't even worrying about it. So I don't know that it'll be 60 FPS because the Zelda team tends to really push things. So it'll probably be 30 FPS, but yeah.
It's just going to be weird hearing Nintendo talk about power. Like that hasn't been a thing.
I don't know if they're going to.
You don't think so?
No, Nintendo never really, not since the old days, GameCube, N64, they talked about, you're playing with power, blah, blah. I don't think they're really going to do that. I think they're just going to focus on, here's games from Switch that look significantly better. We're not going to tell you why, but we're not going to tell you why. We're just going to say it's a selling point. The games look better, run better, and here's our games that are just for Switch 2. I think they're just going to let the games do the talking because that's what Nintendo does, modern Nintendo. They don't talk specs. They're not even going to tell us. You're not going to hear the word NVIDIA or T239 out of their mouths.
Even if they do, it'll be something cute, like with our one-up technology.
Yeah, it'll be like
something stupid.
I mean, and if anything gets mentioned, it's because NVIDIA mentions it. Because NVIDIA is the one that gave, the original specs of Switch, NVIDIA is the one that talked about it. Because NVIDIA, they make the tech. So, they're all about talking about that. Yeah. So, once it's announced, NVIDIA might actually do, some sort of, press release with a bunch of specs. But Nintendo is just going to be like, no, games sell platforms. We're just going to show you games, and you're going to shut the fuck up and buy it.
Yeah.
I hope they get sassy like that. Yeah, I'll buy 3 of them.
I mean, seriously, all they have to do is be like, oh, yeah, remember how, BG3 had to do this for Xbox Series X. Yeah, guess what? It's here day fucking 1 and it has full features. Fuck off. They're not gonna say fuck off, but you know what I mean? They're literally if you think about Switch, right?
Yeah.
Yes, obviously Mario, the tease looked incredible. Obviously, everyone was really hyped for Breath of the Wild, but it wasn't just that. People were like, "Oh, we're getting Skyrim."
Yeah.
Okay, it's a little bit older, but still didn't really see that coming to Nintendo. And then all of a sudden you get towards the summer and they reveal Doom. Like, what the fuck? That's last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, say 2011. That's last fucking year.
Yep.
It's getting Doom, and it actually looks pretty fucking good. Now, in today's world, with all the handhelds out there, you wouldn't think it looks good. But back then, when there was no other options, everyone thought that looked incredible to be in a handheld form. So I think it's one of those things where, like, hey, look, you know this Elden Ring DLC that just won? We have a fucking full special edition with all the DLC right here on the Switch, and here it is. Here's the trailer. And you're like, holy shit, that looks like what I just played on PlayStation. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And like that's all the games do the talking. They don't have to tell you how good the specs are. You just have to know when you play Elden Ring on it, you don't feel like you're playing a gimped experience.
Exactly.
That's it. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, how does it look so good? Well, it's only 1080p. They're not trying to push 4K in handheld.
No, that's diminishing returns in handheld. I don't see any reason for it. Put that money into getting us 4K docked.
Yeah. Or even if it's like 1440p or 10, even if it's 1080p docked, but then DLSS to go to 40p or 4K, I'm cool with it. Like, my whole thing is Nintendo, this goes back to the Iwata days, has always said that games sell platforms. Okay. Well, Switch is the first generation where they had a platform get a game published by Nintendo every single month on average. Mm-hmm. They kind of proved it. Hey, our game sold the platform. Now, the platform being appealing helps, but still, Breath of the Wild hype. And then, who knew that Mario Kart's Second Life was going to be what it was? Holy shit. Nobody, I don't even know if Nintendo, they probably were already developing the next Mario Kart back then. And they said, well, it's going to be towards the end of the gen. We'll just drop this now. And then it blew up, and they're like, oh, fuck. Well, now we're going to do DLC for this fucking bitch. Mm-hmm. We'll just go make Mario Kart Tour, and then we'll work on some DLC. So, like, I truly think that Nintendo believes you just have to... People are tired. So Nintendo is aware of all the tech talk out there and all the specs and the leaks and all the rumors. They're very aware. This Nintendo president seems to be reading everything directly. Pretty fucking nuts. I don't think Iwata paid as much attention as this guy does. But I do think that one core thing Nintendo has learned is that the games are what sell. People didn't buy the Switch because it was a technical marvel. They bought it because Breath of the Wild looked like a can't miss fucking game.
Yeah.
You can't miss. You have to play this game, and Wii U's aren't available anymore. You can only really buy it if you don't have a Wii U. You have to buy a Switch to play it. So I think that's the way they view it. Is we just have to show people can't miss. We have can't miss games, and then look, we have all the games that we were missing, and we don't just have them like they barely run. No, you might want to make this your primary platform to play those games, plus our games. It's kind of like everyone talks about, well, how are they going to compete with PlayStation 5, PlayStation 6? Just have all the same games. Have all the games. We already know they got 10 years of Call of Duty coming. That's like the number one seller for PlayStation besides GTA. So it's like, and if GTA 6 ever gets announced for it, Nintendo's just swimming then. They're going to be swimming in money bags because all people have ever, like everyone that screams they want Nintendo to go third party is because they don't get the third-party games. Or when they get them, like on Switch, they're a little bit sacrificed, right? They don't play as well or look as good. Well, imagine if they look good enough and play well enough that everyone's like, actually, I don't really need to own that other system anymore. I can just have a Switch too because I can play it on the go and at home, and it looks and plays fantastic. Is it as great as a PlayStation 5 Pro? Well, no shit. No, of course not. Wow. Some of those patches, actually. There's some stories out there. Some of those patches are actually worse than the original version. Anyways, what I'm pointing out is that Nintendo, I think, has come to the realization a long time ago that the games are what sell. Stop touting 4K resolution. Stop touting 120 FPS. Don't worry about it. Put the fucking game in the system, turn it on, and just play and forget about it. And what Nintendo's run up to here late in the gen is that the performance of some of their own games is starting to suffer because the hardware is just too old. It's long in the tooth. We were people complaining about like frame rate drops in Echoes of Wisdom. Obviously we saw the stuff with Scarlet and Violet. So like, it's getting to the point now that the fans are kind of like, man, the games aren't really running that well. And Nintendo knows that. So when they drop this, it's going to feel like such a big fucking leap. Like, people still don't feel like the PlayStation 5 was really much of a generational leap. This will be a generational leap. And people will feel it the moment they see the games and they put the thing in their hand. And they're going to be like, oh, yeah, we're happy with this. Now, is that going to be true 7 years from now? Will it get long in the tooth then? I don't know. But Nintendo ain't worried about 7 years. Maybe they have a Switch 2 Pro at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they're just worried about, no. We're going to make it so we're the only system that we think consumers are going to want to own. And that's by having all the third party plus their exclusives. So I kind of think that, we talk about the power, and it's so cool to think about it being like an ROG Ally level, because ROG Ally is not using NVIDIA. So, like, it might be less, like, if you look at the pure tech specs, it might be like, oh, well, the tech specs are less than the ROG Ally. Yeah, but it's different technology. And unlike the ROG Ally, the games are all being customized for that technology. And people don't understand how easy it is to optimize for a single platform versus a wide variety of PC handhelds and PC hardware. Like, doing everything directly for one system, it could end up actually looking a little bit better. It just can. Like Steam Deck, that's been one of the things with Steam Deck. You got to be Steam Deck. Do you think you need to be Switch 2 verified? No, if you're Switch 2, you're Switch 2, you play. There's no worrying about verifying anything. Because, again, if you intentionally bring your game to Switch 2, you're optimizing for Switch 2. Now, obviously, the hope is the industry has learned their fucking lessons about releasing buggy, broken games. We'll see. We'll see. EA and Ubisoft, in particular, take some fucking notes, because people are gonna start hopping ship if you guys keep fucking around. But So I'm this is, by the way, when I'm getting like direct information from people who've touched the fucking thing, who've had Nintendo show them things, I've known game developers for a long time, but I don't really ask them questions. I didn't ask for this information. What I asked about was, hey, there's this June thing going on coming from all these dev studios reportedly. Have you heard anything? That's all I asked. And the developers are so hyped for this fucking game, they kind of ignored the question and just started dumping all this shit on me. And my takeaway is, if they're that excited, oh, fuck, dude. Oh, if they're that excited from touching it, dude, I am going to need unlimited pants changes the day this is revealed. Like, I'm not even touching it yet, just revealed.
Buy your tissues now.
Yeah, right? I'm going to be buying Depends or something. I don't know what's going on, because, oh my God. I had that GameStop source like way back when that was obviously incorrect about when it was going to be revealed and stuff like that with pre-orders. It was all before the internal delay and stuff. But what's crazy is this ain't some like GameStop retail bullshit. This is people making fucking games for the goddamn system. Like, holy fucking shit. My hype levels are so far through the fucking roof right now. I was literally, in the chat, on the live version of this, I was doing all the 8-ball questions so I would contain myself. I'm trying to contain it, because if I don't, I will say too much. So I'm so excited.
In other words, shut up. Let's move on to the goddamn questions and answers.
Strangle me. This thing is going to be plenty beastly and do it sounds like it's everything I wanted Switch 2 to be. I'm so hyped. Oh my God. I'm so fucking hyped. This is unreal. Okay, we can get to we're going to leave it at that, because it's hard, because you guys know more details, because I told you guys behind the scenes. So let's go ahead and get to, we had our top super chat right now. So this will be our topic, our fourth topic here. Comes from Pokemon Fan 33. Says, so I don't know if my topic will make the final. It did. Anyways, was wondering, will they ever add Pokemon mainline games to NSO, since you can't get them anymore? Also remaking Pokemon Coliseum and Gale of Darkness. So thoughts. Well, so what are we thinking about Pokemon NSO remakes, etc.?
So the last time we got all the old Pokemon games was the 3DS, right?
Oh yeah.
We did get them all. And if I recall, you could transfer them to the Pokemon Bank. And if those Pokemon were in Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon, you could use them in that game. Which actually thought was pretty badass. So I remember that detail from afar because I was like working insane hours. I'm just like, man, this is so cool. I wish I had time to play this. So they've done it before, and it was on their last portable console.
Yep.
My thing is that if they do that, I think it eats into the sales of the new Pokemon games, and it could actually divide the fan base between, oh, I like the older Pokemon games, I only play the old ones, versus the people who play the new ones. When you just give them the one option, which is the latest Pokemon games, they're going to eat them up because that's continued to happen. And I feel like they may have test drive that on the 3DS to see how that would work. Because it's like, yeah, if a bunch of people buy the old ones, that's great, but they're only selling them for like $5.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, I'm going out and I'm buying the full price Pokemon game, which will most likely be what, $70? Maybe it'll be 60. Who knows? But Tears of the Kingdom 70, maybe the new Pokemon 70. They want you to buy the new Pokemon game, buy the new DLC, and be part of what's going on with the latest game. I think more than they would like you to revisit their old games. That's where I'm at personally. I think they can make way more money by not releasing the old ones because it will eat into, most likely, the new ones. What do you guys think?
All right, let's play a game for a second. A Pokemon collection on whatever system. Over under 40 million in sales. We're talking a Pokemon retro collection similar to like the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. Dude, like, I think not even a question. And like, you have carryover. You do have like a Mario 64 on NSO, and then you put out the Mario collection, and I don't think it really affected it. So I've always wondered why they didn't do this, because you look at the secondhand market, dude, Pokemon Crystal is like $200. So I don't know why they don't do it. You know, they're actually losing money off of it.
What if they did like an add-on tier where it doesn't matter what tier of NSO you have, the Pokemon is like an extra $10 a month
per month? Holy shit!
Or $10 per.
That's more expensive than all of NSO.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's
like a separate Pokemon add-on.
Yeah, like an add-on thing. So it doesn't matter if you have the base or the upper level. You could just add it on for an X number a month. $2, whatever it is you want to throw out there for a price. Because I mean, I could see a bunch of people doing that and still getting the actual games themselves, or things like that, and then or getting it and then forgetting to have it and then just continue to keep paying for it.
Yeah.
So I don't think they ever get added to NSO. Not just because they're not there at all, not any of them. I mean, obviously we have like the trading card game. So when we talk about like some of the spin-offs and stuff, like obviously that there's possibilities of those getting added because we already have one added in. But with the mainline stuff, I kind of feel like the Pokemon Company has this thing where they feel like the value in those IPs is making you miss them. So when they remaster and remake them, they sell. So I feel like that's just something like their mentality is, we want you to miss it. We want you to miss it. So when our next remake, remaster, chibi, redone, Diamond and Pearl, whatever, sells a shitload. Because they feel like maybe it would hurt sales of remakes and remasters if you missed the game.
Yeah.
Like we talk about, like Crystal's $200. Yeah. People probably miss it. Probably getting remade one day. Going to end up selling a lot. So I know that feels weird, but it kind of fits with the MO what the Pokemon Company's been doing this whole time, why we haven't seen any of them end up on there. Like, hey, we could have got Gen 1 on there. No, we got, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. So I kind of feel like they have this thing where that's what they value. Now, will I say they'll never release a giant collection pack of a bunch of gens? No, because it would, obviously they care about making money, and you can make a shitload of money doing that. You can sell that $60-$70 and have, 5 generations on it or something, and it would probably do gangbusters. But I feel like that's going to be saved for like a really, really, really big anniversary. I don't know how big it has to be. I don't know if it has to be the 50th anniversary. I don't know what. It's got to be a pretty, like something that they consider bigger than any other anniversary they've done.
2026, 30th anniversary.
Yeah, could be the 30th, and then they do a FOMO thing like with 3D All Stars. It's only available for 6 months. Because they're not going to want it to be readily available all the time because of what they feel like with remakes and remasters. But for a FOMO 6-month period, sure. So I kind of feel like that's sort of the way that it's going to go. I don't know, obviously, but this is just based on the fact that it's been a long time and none of them have come to NSO.
Yeah.
I just don't think they have any plans for it.
I just feel like they're a little overhyped at this point because the 3DS, like Thunderstash was saying, like they came out with, I think it was like a Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, like special edition or whatever.
Yep.
And I don't know. I don't remember the world changing when they
wasn't like Fire Red, Leaf Green or something.
It was something like, or I think it was the original. I don't know. It like came preloaded or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
But I didn't notice the world changing. Like I didn't notice like the Pokemon games on 3DS were among the best sellers. So I honestly think it only helps sales. I get what you're saying about it, but
I'm just talking about how I think they view it.
Yeah.
I think there's other ways to go about it where it can help. Like I don't think like, Crystal being on NSO is going to stop people from wanting to buy a Crystal remaster or remake. But they may think that way.
Yeah.
Because they may think that not having something makes you want it more, which there is some research out there to suggest that not having something does make you want it more.
Yeah.
Something being valuable like $200 makes you really more willing to buy a $60 version of a new one. So it's one of those I think that's been their mentality, and I don't think it's going to change. Even though I think you're right, I think that they are overthinking it, and it wouldn't really hurt, and it could actually help Nintendo with NSO subscriptions and stuff. Obviously, there could be some additional complications when they're talking about Pokemon Home and trying to get everything all transferred. I understand that, but that's all stuff that can get sorted out. If modders have sorted that out with emulators, so can Nintendo and TPC if they want to sort it out.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, the Pokemon Red and Blue that were pre-installed with like those 3DSs, that was for the 20th anniversary.
Yeah. That's why I think a big collection could happen for the 30th. We'll see. That being said, for the other stuff, remaking Pokemon Coliseum or Gale of Darkness, I kind of feel like the ship has maybe sailed. They've taken a lot of the features from those games and just put them in modern Pokemon games.
Yeah, that'd be a weird.
So like, it's kind of like a sign of the era when there wasn't games on home console for Pokemon. And this was kind of the way that people got to enjoy Pokemon on home console. And they were really cool. I fucking love them. The mini games, they were amazing. But in the end, I kind of feel like that era is behind us. If anything, it's just like putting them on NSO. We already have one on NSO, right? Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah.
So like that's where they're going to show up. I don't think they're going to get remakes because I just kind of feel like they've taken a lot of those features and put them in Pokemon. I think it's more likely that you get more like Stadium or Coliseum sort of modes in the next Gen 10 or something like that. I think that's way more likely than them remaking those ones because those ones are even if you remake them and allow modern Pokemon to be in them, I know this sounds really cool and there's a lot of nostalgia there, but then people will play and be like, but dude, I did this in Scarlet and Violet. What are we doing? You know what I mean? So, Pokemon's just evolved enough where they don't need those because Pokemon's now on home console. So, but I love those games. Yeah, like Pokemon Fan 33 mentioned, like those are my favorites. I'm like, I get it, love them. I absolutely love them. Stadium, Coliseum, Gale of Darkness, love them all. But it's just kind of like I think the ship has sort of sailed on that sort of thing. That would have been something for like the Wii U days, maybe when Pokemon wasn't on Wii U. You know,
it was really to bridge the gap between the handheld Pokemon players and the console players, and it was to get them to interact with both.
Yeah, but I do think NSO definitely a possibility. That'll be pretty limited, obviously, because just like with Stadium, you can't transfer Pokemon in, so there'll be some limitations. But yeah, I can see them being on NSO. Those are the kind of games that are like not mainline that could definitely be over on NSO.
And I just looked, and Coliseum only sold 2.4 million.
Yeah,
that's not a lot.
It might actually have more people play it on NSO than they did when they originally sold it.
Yeah. So it's a pretty niche thing. I know it's well liked now, but yeah.
I mean, a lot of things didn't sell very well on that console back then because the console didn't sell well.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, if you think about it, only 2 million. Yeah, that's only 20% of the total audience of the whole platform. Most people would be happy with those kind of sales.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot. Imagine you had 20% of the Switch audience. Holy shit, it's a 30 million plus seller. Like, anyways, so yeah. Thank you so much for that. We're going to go to our Q&A section now. This is where we get to all the other ones. Obviously, we spent the most time on that one because that was our fourth topic. As soon as it lets me do it. Okay, I hide the message. All right. So we'll just go in order of stuff that came in here. Well, actually, whatever order it shows me here. We have Anthony Nelson. Good job raising his thumb up. Shiba dog. That was a super sticker.
Super sticker.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was from an earlier conversation. Then we had let's see here. Sam Talks Games. He's a member chat here. Says, keep it up, man. In terms of gaming, I'm currently burnt out. I feel like we've had stuff like this before, but you still love the hobby. So how have you rekindled your love for gaming in this situation? Yeah, we've had a similar topic like this before. I'll just keep it super brief up from my end. It's just step away from it for a little while. Take a break. It's okay. It's okay to miss it. Let yourself miss it.
Yep.
That's all I have to say on that. I don't want to like go too deep because we already answered this in a prior show.
Play something new. Play something you haven't played. I just showed it earlier in the podcast. I picked up Armored Core 6. Never played the series. I honestly have zero interest in it. But so many people speak so highly of it that I'm going to try it. Earlier this year, Unicorn Overlord. Never played strategy RPGs. Was never into it. Right? Just not something I did. Tried the demo. Why? 2 reasons. One, I really loved the art style and I thought it did look very interesting. And then everyone backed it up. Everybody did. Whether it's on social media, YouTube. Other people who don't normally play this were playing it. So I played it. Excellent. I would just say play some different genres. Try some new stuff.
Yeah, I got a quick answer. Just restart Tears of the Kingdom. You're gonna have fun.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's finding a game that I absolutely just love, and then jumping right back into that one.
Yeah.
It could be going back to an old game, or maybe it's like Steve said, a new game you never thought you'd be into. Surprises you.
It just depends on the person.
Yeah,
and it's hard to say.
That's why we have all these different answers. It's different for every person on what can get you. Like that you're still passionate about it. That's good. So like the fire still burns in there. You can feel it. You're just not into whatever's happening right now, and you feel burnt out. So it's kind of like figuring out what can rekindle that. For me, sometimes taking a break. For others, it's trying something completely brand new. For Eric, it was on a random trip to E3 and then playing Breath of the Wild's demo. I mean, and remember, Eric really wasn't, he knew what Zelda was, but he really wasn't that into Zelda. And then he played the Breath of the Wild demo. And he had the same grin on his fucking face as he did playing Plucky Squire. So it literally rekindled the fire there in the moment.
Also, if you have access to retro games, that's always a way I get back into gaming.
Sure. Yeah. Go back to something you love.
Go back to where you came from. Start at the beginning. I agree with that.
Yep. Let's see here. Next one. This was just a fun one I did. It was just for the love of video games. We were talking passionately about video games. I had to throw that out there. Love video games, man. Nintendo Talk, of course. we got the 25 likes. I had to do the 2 shots.
Thank you, chat. Thank you.
It is what it is. He tried to get a free 2 shots out there with 8-Ball. Didn't work. 8-Ball said nope. Yep. Then we got Vanata 712. The other big boy of the stream here said, what's your favorite simulation game? So farming, sport, or otherwise? And 8-Ball knows all. 8-Ball doesn't lie.
Like in the sim genre, like something sim. Or
something sim related. It doesn't have to be sports.
I'm a sports
farming
guy,
sims
so.
are a big one. And
yeah, I like farming sims. If you want to talk about actual sims, like Power Wash Sim is great. Thief Simulator is super fun.
So what's your favorite one? That's what the question is. He's like, I don't want to upset my audience.
I don't know.
life simulation games.
The Sims.
Probably. I mean, is Animal Crossing a simulation game? No, not really.
It like skirts the line a little, because like it has life simulation, but then it's kind of unrealistic.
Yeah. Probably MLB The Show, honestly.
MLB The Show. That's a good one. That's a good one. Eric.
I'm a sports guy. I mean, the only Sims that I really play are Madden and NCAA. So
Okay. All right. Stash.
Okay, I got two because basketball. I play 2K, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if I consider it a full-on sim because there's one sim
To rule
that
them all.
rules them all, and that is
City. Oh my god, I got it.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yes.
Look at that, baby.
Yeah.
The OG. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's go.
there it is. I honestly, this game was so much fun, especially playing it in school, doing the window toggle.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
So
no, for sure.
I'll go. I play a lot of Madden. Everyone knows I play a lot of Madden. I'm in Madden leagues and stuff. So it's easy for me to like go with like, oh, that's like my favorite simulation game. But I feel like that's too easy. So when I think about sim games, obviously I'm thinking of things like Sim 4. I'm thinking of obviously Sim City or Sim Coaster, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Theme Park. It's a PC game from like back in like the 90s. I believe it was the 90s. Theme Park.
I remember it.
It by the way, for everyone's like, oh, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Theme Park took a fucking dump on Roller Coaster Tycoon back then. Unfortunately, it didn't have the marketing campaign behind it, so it didn't become as well known. So we got multiple Roller Coaster Tycoons. We didn't get a ton of theme park games, but it was really, really good back in the day. That was fun. So that's a simulation game, obviously, where you're building, roller coasters and theme parks and all that stuff. Also, that other one, there was Zoo Tycoon.
Zoo Tycoon was really good. I know. I just thought of that after
the original Zoo Tycoon.
After you brought up, yeah.
What? You put the elephants with the zebras? Yeah, I don't know. I did what I did. They don't like each other. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, right.
They all died the next day. Sorry.
Tomorrow, Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic is coming out on the Switch.
There it
And
is.
it is the first and second game, and it's good. I played it.
It's almost like I might be thought about Theme Park because I saw you live stream. Its competitor. Yeah. So there we go on that. So this is where it's going to get a little awkward. All right, not completely. Like Keithius came in here and just became a member. Thank you so much, Keithius. Appreciate you be joining the Prime family over there. But Keithius also went ahead and got us to 69.
Nice.
So it means I have to chug a beer, and that's fine. But it also means I have no more topics to talk about. So you guys just have a conversation while I sort this out, because I don't know what else. Here's what he did. He gave the 1402. We hit the 69. I'll work on the beer. You guys work on having something to talk about, because I got nothing.
Ooh.
Just silence.
Silence. We'll show you, Nate.
So
Are you gonna shotgun it? Why don't you shotgun it?
Oh,
I'm not going to shotgun it for only one reason.
it's glass bottle.
No.
I mean, that'd be
No
a good reason
possible.
to not shotgun it.
No. The only reason is because I have too much equipment around me that I want to splash it on.
Sounds
That's
like an
literally.
excuse.
I used to shotgun it before I had the Roadcaster.
You don't want some more stains on your
Dude, I
ceiling?
have stains on my ceiling from shotgunning. Dude, I used to shotgun on stream a lot, but like now that was before I had like thousands of dollars of equipment around me. That's back when I was using like a $50 USB mic, and my computer was on the other side of the room. And
I love it.
I'm saying I'll never shotgun on the stream again. It's just gonna maybe the 200K celebration one day.
I mean, I guess we could turn your camera and you can go over by the door.
No.
Oh, now we're talking.
Eric's like, there's solutions to anything. You want a shotgun? There's solutions. I know you guys have a real conversation now as I figure this out.
As you pour beer.
Yep.
There was a question
My lips are too big to chug from the can. It's stupid.
from
freaking
Pokemon
genetics.
fan asking if New Leaf or Tomodachi Life would come over. I don't think any of the older Animal Crossing games are going to come over, because Animal Crossing is a series, just like gets better and better. So if you go back on it, it doesn't age as. I mean, New Leaf's good, but
It
I don't.
confuses the consumer too, like
Yeah.
the new consumer,
Mhm.
and Nintendo doesn't want the new consumer to go out to the store and buy the newest Animal Crossing on the shelf.
And it has less features.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I think Nintendo's honestly they've gotten a lot sharper over the years when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It
You
became a
mean
lot
after
more.
the Wii U flop?
Yeah, I think it forced them to become a lot more reflective and cognizant of what the average consumer mindset is, and
Mhm.
putting their feet into their shoes, stepping into it, and really trying to act like what would the average consumer be thinking right now, or the average parents that are buying games. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not in it thick like we are and like everyone in chat, they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. Like if the newest Animal Crossing on the shelf is a 20-year-old game on GameCube,
Mm-hmm.
someone's not gonna know. Like some kid's not gonna know. They weren't even alive yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So before I
Oh,
chug
is
this,
great.
so I was like, oh, what would make me actually shotgun it? Well, they invented a way to make it less messy. It's called the Kraken.
Mhm.
And Bama Hut's been trying to get me to buy it forever, and I forgot about it till just now. And I'm like, oh, if I had that, yeah, I'll shotgun them because it gets rid of the giant splash all over the place.
Mhm.
And so I go to find the
Oh my
website.
God.
They got
Just
buy one
share
get one
it.
free.
Just share it.
Okay.
Just share
All
it.
right. I did not expect this when I went to the website. It is so perfect. It is so perfect. Are you ready for this? We hit 69, and I got 69% off if I buy one. It's almost like it's fate.
Yeah, right.
It's almost like it's fate. No, the problem is I can't buy it today, but that's okay. I just wanted to see what it cost. But it's 69%. Hopefully it's still there on Saturday. All right. Oh, I love what it says too. Nice. Sign me up. Nah, I hate free money.
Like I can't say no to that.
Can't say no to that.
Right.
You got my email address for that one. All right.
Mhm.
Oh, you want my phone? You know what? Screw it. I already get
yeah.
texts from other bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, I signed up for my 69% off. Oh, God, codes. All right,
Of course they did.
let me chug this beer. I'll deal with the Kraken later. As I'm literally putting the code. I'm literally
doing it anyways.
Oh, there's the code. Yeah, well, because I still don't know what it costs.
Yeah, right.
I just want to know how much the damn thing is.
Yeah.
8 payments of $49.99.
Oh,
Right.
discount code is in my email. Okay, that's fine. So
nice.
let's get the actual price. Yeah, I had 50% and free shipping. That's just speaking my name right now.
Yeah, right.
Dude, do I get 69% off to 50% off?
That'd be awesome.
Dude,
It's about to be $2.99, dude.
it's $20 right
Yeah.
now for 50% off. That's not using the code.
Oh,
Put it in your
Dude, that might knock it down to
put
like
it in
$6.
your put it in your thing.
Oh my God.
Let's see if.
Well, I'll worry.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my cup is
yeah.
leaking. There's a
Oh,
hole in the cup.
there's a hole in the cup.
There's a hole in the cup.
Oh boy.
it's a business investment.
Yeah.
Hole in the
Yeah.
cup.
Yeah. You can write it off.
I would be using it for work.
You wrote off
Right, I'm
something
gonna
called
say,
a
What's
Kraken?
this $6 Kraken business expense? IRS comes knocking.
Yeah. Right. That's what you get audited for.
Dude, you gotta watch my live streams. You'll know.
Yeah. Right.
All right. You guys,
We're waiting.
why do you want to watch me chug?
Everyone does.
Why? You know, so last week, story time,
We want to see the form.
the
the
69
technique.
happened. The 69 happened during the show, and like there was a serious conversation. It was Thunderstash talking like a serious story. So I didn't want to say anything, right? I didn't want to interrupt the story. So I just did the chug. But the problem is I forgot to mute my mic and had a massive fucking burp. And Rogers Base lost his shit. He
That was
was
funny.
so
Yeah.
into Thunderstash's
Yeah.
story, and then he just like, "You are so unprofessional." I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry."
You did really?
Oh, yeah.
No, he's all
I
cool.
mean,
We're
he's-
already
yeah, he
planning
was
the next
laughing his-
episode he's on.
Laughing is all
But
hell,
he was already razzing me earlier. Then he's like, "Really? You couldn't have muted that shit?" Like,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, I love Roger.
Yeah, he's fun. He's fun.
Come on, I want to see you chug that like Stone Cold.
Dude, that means half the beer goes on me.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
That's not a dude. The Stone
One
Cold
beer.
chug's the worst. It's like, does he even like beer? He just like pouring it. He like showering in it. It's a cool look, slamming the cans and.
I've done it.
It looks badass.
It does.
It is badass, but like you barely get any beer.
Yeah,
that's like my type of chug.
I would never do that
everywhere.
in my office.
What was that Green Bay Packer that could like chug it in 2 seconds? Was it Bakhtiari?
Yeah, Bakhtiari.
Yeah, the old Green Bay Packer, Bakhtiari. He'd be at like a Bucks game, and he'd have like a fucking pint, and he's like, "Yep, gone in like 2 seconds."
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? I ain't got that kind of gullet, not anymore. Maybe back in the day when I used to get iced.
Chug.
He's lagging.
Chug.
That's eight balls coming in and saying, "Shut up, Eric."
Chug. Twitch 2 footage right there. Hopefully not.
I can't laugh. It's gonna come out my fucking nose. Oh my god.
Chug.
That double cup thing sucks.
Yep.
Chug. There's a professional, folks.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Woo!
That was.
I was gonna say, watch you mute this one. It doesn't matter.
Dude, I can't believe that cup had a hole in it.
Yeah, right.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Red Solo Cup doesn't always have my back, apparently.
Nope.
God damn it.
They're saying 7 out of 10.
I'm going to clean that later.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I didn't get on anything, so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for the Nintenbyte Podcast this week. Hey, look, guys, we didn't go 5 hours.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. It's like a normal episode for once. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun. We'll go around the room quick and let people know what we got going on and where they can find us. I know our mods got our back and putting all the links in the chat. Eric, what do you got going on and where can they find you?
I'm here. That's it.
Yep. If you make him laugh on Twitter, he might respond with a thumbs up or something.
Heart. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Heart.
Then
Whatever the fuck.
Whatever the hell they do. Yeah.
All right, Thunderstash, what you got going on?
Just a lot. Still again playing Metaphor. After that, might be Dragon Quest. I might take a short break and jump into Indiana Jones. That's most likely what I'll do.
I'm going to be doing that. Yeah.
Buffer. Another thing about burnout. Buffer games are very important. It's not healthy, in my opinion, to jump from RPG to RPG to RPG and play these long, massive games. You need a good palate cleanse. And Indiana Jones is going to be, I think, my palate cleanse from this phenomenal RPG that I'm playing Metaphor. Then I'll go to Indiana and then to Dragon Quest. And then maybe Fantasia and Neo Dimension. But I'll pry again. I'll throw a buffer in there. Throw a little Michael buffer in there for us. Very important.
There we go.
That's what I'm doing. I'm doing that. Oh, you know what? I will say this. Have you guys ever seen the Retroid Pocket 5?
I've seen it, yeah.
Holy
I feel
shit.
like I have, yeah.
Okay, so it just came out in September. I was watching some videos on it because, I'm working on this stuff with the Atari. It's a PC. So I'm doing a lot of old school retro stuff on it, getting retro achievements all installed on this. It's going to be pretty fun. But this Retroid, my God, it's got a, not an OLED screen, but what is that? AMOLED?
Yeah.
Dude, we all know that when you see a screen on YouTube, like for instance, when the OLED Switch came out, right? Seeing a video of it versus seeing it in person, you're like, whoa, okay. I see why this is a big deal. This screen is freaking amazing. I can see those details on this Retroid Pocket 5 through the actual YouTube videos.
Oh man.
And I'm seeing like old school games being played on this OLED screen. Dude, it looks amazing. So I naturally, that means I ordered one. I did spring for the extra $15 for DHL shipping. So hopefully that'll help. I heard it does, but I will be definitely doing a video on my channel about that. And maybe a few videos because I'm going to be doing some stuff with it. I got some ideas. So yeah, anyone in chat, if you guys have not heard of the Retroid Pocket 5, look it up. Check it out. Just go watch like a YouTube video or something. Make sure you go into your YouTube player and put it to at least 1080p and view that and tell me what you think of that screen. The screen is amazing. So yeah, I'm very excited. I'll be doing that too. A lot of moving parts. I got to get on my roof too. I got to do some work. Got to do a little bit of some roof repair, and I got to repair my road too. I have my own private road, like for my residence, and it's long and it's windy, and I got to go out there and do patch repair, like patch my own road. Yeah, that's how it is out here in the old
like a
West.
real man.
Yeah. So now that the weather's finally cooled down, it was like almost 80 today, but it felt like it was like 85, 90, which is just bullshit. This is December, man. December.
Yeah, it's like 12 degrees today.
Yeah, I know.
We're in Wisconsin, though. We had lots of gusting wind and snow.
Oh God, it was insane.
Yeah, it's like 38 here. So.
Yeah, that's really cold. But yeah, I got a lot of work to do. So a lot of work everywhere, housework, handyman work, road work, roof work. Busy.
Yeah. Busy. All right. Nintendo Talk. What you got going on? Where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Nintendo Talk. Guys, follow me on my channel because I'm working with Atari. Can you believe that? They are the ones coming out with the Roller Coaster Tycoon game. I'm doing a giveaway. They're doing custom Roller Coaster Tycoon Joy-Con. It's going to be dope. So yeah, I'll be streaming the game, giving it away. So yeah.
A custom Joy-Con?
Yeah.
Custom Joy-Con, Roller Coaster Tycoon.
That's pretty badass, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. What was I going to say? There's something I wanted to point out. For people that are wondering if my Thursday night stream is going to be like starting later because of the Packer game, no. I'll just be watching the Packer game while I stream. I mean, come on. The Packer game's not going to be done till like the stream would be over anyways. So come on. I'll just watch it. You might see a happy or a sad Nate. It depends on if we win or if we're getting blown out. Like, if we're getting blown out, then I'm kind of sad because then it's like, all right, we're just not ready. But if it's a close game and we lose, I'm cool with that. Like, yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, I want us to win. It'd be nice to beat the Lions. Yeah, it's tough. It's going to be toughest game we've had in a bit. So, like, we've been winning all these games, but we haven't really played anyone tough. Now it's like, all right, now we got.
Is it in Detroit?
Yes, I believe, right? I think we're in Detroit. Pretty sure.
Yeah, it's in Detroit.
Yeah, because they already beat us at home. All right. That being said, you guys can obviously find me anywhere. I'm making Switch 2 content pretty much all the time right now. I want to make other stuff, but there's just nothing going on with Nintendo I'm interested in right now until it's revealed. Like Game Explain or others have been making like videos about the stuff with the Donkey Kong Country Returns HD and how like there's some visual downgrades and stuff. Yeah, I think it's kind of bullshit. Also, I ain't buying the game anyways, so I just don't really care. I've already played and beat it twice on 2 other platforms. I'm good. But this is all the 3DS. Yeah, I beat it on 3DS. I'm good. Like I don't need to play it again. So I just don't care. Like I think it's bullshit. It seems like it might be a little bit of a cheaper port. It's whatever. I don't give a shit. Xenoblade Chronicles X. I am actually really excited we're getting that because I think it deserves that second life off of Wii U. But I also beat it on Wii U, and I'm not going to get it. I know there's bonus story content. I'll watch it on YouTube. Sorry, I just don't feel like sinking 100+ hours back into that game again. Not because it's a bad game, but because if I'm going to do that, then I might as well just go finish off Xenoblade 3, which I haven't done yet. So, that's where I should be putting my time, is on something that I don't know what's going to happen versus something that I do know. Guys, I don't replay games that much. So, it actually makes me more nostalgic for games, I feel like, not replaying them. Because...
just have your memories.
Yeah, it literally... People always ask, like, why I don't replay games, and it's a simple answer. Nothing's ever as good as the first time. And I want that to be what I remember.
For video games.
Yeah, for video games.
I
I definitely had better than the first time in other ways.
Yeah.
But for video games, that first time experience playing through, it's always the best.
Dude, it's like 40 hours to get a mech in that game too.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. It takes a while before you get to some of the really cool shit.
That's a grind, yeah.
So I'm just not interested in doing that again when I've already done it. Because I beat every single exclusive that came to Wii U because there wasn't that many. I mean, there was in the grand scheme, there was quite a few, but like compared to Switch, okay, compared to 3D, it really wasn't that hard because exclusive was coming out like once every 6 months, so it was pretty easy to keep up and beat them all. What Wind Waker HD, those weren't exclusive, so I didn't beat them then, and I won't beat them if they come to Switch either. Well, I say that. You guys will do some stupid super chat goal and force me to play all the way through them. Oh no, I gotta replay some of my favorite games. Oh damn! Like I thought, like I'm against replaying games. I just don't have an interest. I like keeping my most recent memories, the best memories. You know.
So wait, you wouldn't get a Wind Waker remake?
I'd buy it, but I probably wouldn't. I'd do like a launch stream and then I'd probably be it.
Yeah. Okay.
See, I haven't beat Wind Waker since 03.
It's a fucking great game.
I beat it on the Wii U, so yeah.
I have
As
it.
an example, you know what made me
Sealed.
not finish Wind Waker HD? Because they got rid of the Tingle quest.
Mm.
I got to the point where you free Tingle from the jail, and then I realized, oh shit, they really did get rid of the quest. Yeah, I'm fucking out.
Bastards.
I'm peacing out, dude. There's so much story and lore with that quest line. Oh, it's Tingle bottles. That mean nothing. They have nothing to do with Tingle. The Tingle bottles have nothing to do with Tingle. You're just putting a message in a bottle that your friend finds in the ocean. Kind of cool, but also doesn't replace literal story. They eliminated story from the game. So I'm like,
yeah. And then you find the bottle and it's like a dick. So you're a dick. Like,
there's something stupid. There's like no censorship on the Tingle bottles at all. Like at all. Nintendo was definitely not looking at the Tingle bottles.
No.
They were moderating Miiverse to getting rid of all the dicks on there, but not in Wind Waker. Anyways, it was really prevalent. Now, granted, it was only your friends. So assuming that you're like okay with things from your friends, it probably doesn't bother you. But you know, there was some funky shit coming through because some of my friends on my Switch were some of you guys that were like watching Zelda Informer and just added me as friends. I don't know who the fuck you are. So getting some of the things I got was a little insane. I probably should tighten my friends list before I play that game if Tingle bottles are back. Might be reducing it down to like the people on the podcast and Eric. Might not even put my kids in there just in case they touch my Switch.
Wait, I'm not on the podcast? All right.
Oh,
see you later.
Here we go. Anyways, guys, the only thing I really want to advertise here at the end, like our podcast is everywhere podcasts are heard. I was actually really late getting last week's audio version of it. Actually went up while this show was going on. Sorry about that. I've also been really slacking on the clips. I'm aware. I've been slacking on my own channel. I haven't even been getting daily videos out. Just a lot going on. It's that time of year, right? November, December, very busy time, lots of family stuff. But I will be getting some clips out this week on this show. We had some great conversations. I want to get that stuff out. That being said, setting all that aside and getting back in that flow as we head towards the new year, there's a new forum. I don't know if you guys have heard about. It might be based on somebody on this podcast right now.
Yeah, what's it called, dude?
Yeah, I think if you subtract 10 from this podcast, you get the answer. It's Nin Talk. We got the Nin Talk forums. They're pretty awesome. They're not. I didn't want to base the forums on my name at the time I made it. I didn't really realize I kind of just based it on the guy who hasn't been at a podcast for a month.
Great.
But
I was moving.
Yeah, no.
You're fine, dude. You're fine. It was just like you joined the podcast as a new member, and then you just immediately just gone. I'm like, all right, cool.
Like I started a new job.
But I know it wasn't your fault. Like life happens, and I know that life happens. Though there might even be a time in the future shit comes up, and then Thunderstash isn't here. You know, life happens. It is what it is. I'm the only one that's. I've missed one episode of a podcast ever.
I haven't missed any.
You haven't missed any of this one. I missed one of the Nintendo Prime podcast. No. Yes. I had Andres hosted, didn't I? Yeah. Andres hosted one episode ever that I actually missed. I can't remember what it was for, because even on the cruise, I was still on the show. I can't remember what the reason. There was something that like it just was impossible for me not to be there. It might have been one of my kids' events, possibly, where it was like just impossible for me to skip that, like a concert or something. So it's like, no, like I'm not skipping a kid event. I'm not going to be an absentee father. So like I have to plan ahead for someone else to host it. Like my kid's Christmas concert, it's on a Monday this year. I got to worry about it. It's not a Wednesday. Thank God. Thank God. They should put it on Fridays if I'm honest, but whatever. It's on a Monday. That being said, you can go check out that podcast. I'll link it in the chat right now. I'll put a link for it. If you're on the audio version, listen, I'll put a link in the audio version as well. It's not the whole idea of the forum is it's not about me. It's not about my channel or anything like that. It's just a place for Nintendo fans to come together.
No, it's just about Nintendo talk.
Yeah, it's about Nintendo talk. It's just a place for fans to come together to talk. That's like there isn't a lot of Nintendo forums out there anymore.
It's not.
They really don't exist. It's like basically Reddit, and then there's like family boards and stuff. And a lot of these places have like these rules and restrictions that seem to like boot a lot of people out of the conversation.
Yeah, they don't let you talk about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they really don't. Like family boards especially is very strict. A lot of the Reddit boards are extremely strict as well. I didn't want to be so strict. I wanted this to be a place that everyone can come together and talk. You know, so that's kind of what it's about. It's about bringing all Nintendo fans together. Obviously, there's a few basic rules. It's pretty much just don't be a dumbass. Kind of covers everything, but you know, there's a few specifics laid out. You'll see if you go to the board, there's a little announcement post that lets you know. It's not that big a deal. Obviously, we deal with individual cases when we need to deal with them, but it's just for fun. So we already have conversations going on there. Like I can show you guys right now. We have conversations going on because we just opened them this week. Where is it? This one. So when you go to the board, it'll initially look like this, except you won't see this admin stuff up here. But we just have the one board right now. We might add a general conversation board eventually. One of the rules is we don't talk about politics or religion. So like, you know, in the general board, I guess we just talk about life stuff, I'm assuming, or technology or something. But in here, you can see we already got a number of threads going. We got a Zelda fan thread, you know, future technology, of course, Switch 2 stuff, Nintendo 3-way Switch that Corey Bohm started for some reason, a completely separate Switch 2 thread. Don't ask me what he's doing. I haven't even read that thread yet. It's the first time I've ever clicked on it.
Yo, boy.
The Nintendo Switch Online announcement mega thread. So every time a new NSO announcement comes out, it's going to end up being in here. Nice. So like obviously the most recent one was Donkey Kong Land 3, but it'll get updated with every new announcement that happens in the future. So like if you don't want to visit places like X, stuff like that, you could just come here and the announcements will just be in there. If you have a Xenoblade thread, I think this one got started today. Then we got Splatoon. Console modding discussions, right? We allow modding discussions. No, you can't link to ROMs.
Oh, I got to get in on that.
Yeah. No linking to ROMs and like telling people where to get certain things.
No, you got to, right?
Well, you can. You
got to tell everyone exactly where to get it.
Yeah, right.
So you can't do that because it's illegal. But you can talk about mod. Like people are in here like having like serious talk, like this one. You know, talking about like Game Boy Advance and how popular that is the mod. Obviously, we know right now. I think Thunderstash is probably doing a little modding on that new system he picked up.
Sure.
So it's just a nice place to come together, have those conversations, not really worry that people are going to give a shit what your walk of life is, you know? So we're here to have fun.
All Show has a good name when the next system comes out.
Great name.
What is it?
Nintalk
Oh, man. Oh, my God. Is this even going to come through?
For the message boards, he was saying. Could have been Nintalk.
Yeah, Nintalk.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I like it.
I can't hear it.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know what the setup is over here. I got all these buttons that don't do anything. They just come through for us.
She did just release a meme coin, and everybody lost their ass.
I know why it's not coming through. It goes through the one audio channel that's not set up. Damn. That's why.
I can hear it.
Yeah, we can hear it. We can hear it.
Nate's releasing Prime Coin. It's coming out.
Yeah.
Soon.
Swear, I just
pump it up, dude.
No. Does this work? Can you hear it now?
Fuck two and spit on that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now I know what I have to select to make sure you guys hear it. Because I went from that into.
Oh, you gotta give it that fuck two and spit on that thing. Oh, you gotta give it that fuck two and spit on that thing. Fuck two and spit on that thing. 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 Fuck two.
All right, everyone. That's going to do it for the Nintenbyte Podcast. Thank you for coming out, and we'll catch you same time next week with a little bit of Nick with no K and some Bro Nation.